Get ready for a powerhouse of inspiration. Principal Kafele, a highly regarded educator and a transformational leader, Principal Kafele has spent over 20 years in New Jersey's urban schools, making a lasting impact as both a master teacher and a turnaround principal. Under his leadership, the mighty Newark Tech transformed from a low-performing school to one of America's best, as recognized by U.S. News and World Report 3 times. A recipient of the prestigious Milken Educator Award, Principal Kafele is one of the most sought-after voices in school leadership and equity. He's delivered over 3,000 keynotes, workshops, and seminars across the nation, authored 13 books, including 7 ASCD bestsellers, and continues to empower leaders through his live-streamed AP and New Principals Academy. Please join us in welcoming the extraordinary Principal Kafele.
And we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. Welcome to week 295 consecutively of the AP in New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got checking in this morning on this Christmas week. We got starting us off. We got to go way back here. We got Constance Sherrod down in Pearl, Mississippi. We got AP Patrick Lawrence in Connecticut. We got the good Dr. Rachel Edowicket in Maryland. I might add, she's principal, but president of the Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals. Mrs. Yolanda McKinney down in Texas. Grace Castaneda, Kyle, Texas. Robin Snowden in Fresno, California. Harambe. We got Takesha High in Virginia. Where we at? Nadira Coley is in Newark, New Jersey. Nolene Martin is in where we at? She's down in North. She's up down from here in North Texas. Where we at? Lysandra Brackens is in North Carolina. Rodney Richardson is in Hampton, Virginia. Janine Wilkins, I see you. Janine C. Wilkins. You said not awake in Alaska. It's cold and windy. I bet it is. I appreciate you checking in, Janine. Appreciate you. We got where we at? Dr. Rella Hicks. Good morning to you. I guess, Dr. Hicks, I guess you're going to be starting as soon as we get back from Christmas break as far as your new position as AP. So we're looking forward to that. We got Principal Otis Kitchen II in the building down in Florida. He probably down in the sunshine somewhere. LaKenya Rowland, good morning to you. Chancellor Davis, Las Vegas, Nevada. Marsha Poe, San Diego, California. Jasmine Harris, California. Hey, Jasmine, you coming to the Knowledge Con conference in LA with Principal Ra? I'll be there. Guest keynote speaker on Sunday the 18th. Come on through. We got Michael Benton. Where we at? Cincinnati, Ohio. We got the queen of the castle, baby. Right? Kimberly Broughton Kafele. She said happy holidays to all. We got Dot McKeever Jeter, that's retired Principal Dot McKeever Jeter, Calumet City, Illinois, in the building. Appreciate all you do, Dot. You know that from all four of the platforms. Appreciate you. For those that may not know what that means, it just means she keeps us on, keeps everybody on their toes when one of us is on live. If I'm sitting here on a Sunday watching football, I'll get that notification from Dot that Josh and Marty are on, and vice versa with all of us. So good stuff. I appreciate you. Where would we be without you? We got Dr. Sheikah Houston in the building. One half of Create and Educate, 10:55 every Saturday morning. Facebook Live, among other platforms. But 10:55 with Dr. Tammy Taylor, preceded by Sean Hurt, 10 o'clock. Then yours truly, AP and New Principals Academy, 10:55. And then Sunday we round it out. That's, as a matter of fact, Saturday we call it Super Saturday, and Sunday we round it out with the Fantastic Four with Josh Tovar and Dr. Marty Moreno. She'll be back, I think, tomorrow. So, that's who we are, y'all. Tracy Gray, I see you. Houston, Texas. John Herricks, Denton, Texas. Where we at? I see you, Dot, letting all these people know. Where we at? Vanessa Zeskin, I see you. In Connecticut. Sean Hurt, I see you. Detroit, Michigan. I'm getting ready to shut it down, y'all. We got a lot to talk about today. Jennifer Desmond, I see you in Nova Scotia, Canada. That means maybe Jacqueline Harriet is somewhere nearby as well. right? Let me close it out, y'all. I see you, Dr. Principal Tammy Taylor. And where we at? I see you, Stacy Joseph. I'm getting ready to shut it down. Kenyell Session, I see you. OKC, I see you. All right, y'all. Let me. I gotta. Let me get my jersey, homie. Last one. Michael Dixon, Principal here in Newark, New Jersey. I see you. We're gonna get him on here too. We just had to reschedule something, but I see you. But for the rest of us, let me just formally say to everybody, good morning, greetings, and welcome to week 295 consecutively. That's key, consecutively, of the AP and New Principals Academy. Hey, y'all, you know, my question, how you feeling? How you doing? And my hope is that, you know, you're all off now. I have to assume, maybe not, man. So I remember we used to go right up to the 23rd, right? So maybe folks are not off, but maybe because of when Christmas falls, I don't know. It varies by district, but I know a lot of districts are off now. So, but whatever it is, hopefully during this holiday season, after you get all the work out the way, you know, I remember them days. I used to live in Toys R Us. I was like Christmas Eve though. I literally, I'm there the 24th every year with these two big shopping carts, right? Two of them. And I'm glad that's behind me, man. That was work, man. That was work, let alone how much I had to spend, right? But it was work. So I'm glad that's behind me. That's in my rear view. That comes with age, right? But some of y'all, that's what you do. Then you got to cook, then you got to get the house ready, you know, all that kind of stuff, people coming through, or you going somewhere. So once you get past all of that, I hope you get a chance to just take it down, you know, breathe, decompress, right? And but never losing sight of the fact that the new year is right around the corner as far as your school, right? So it's not like summertime, right? It's coming. So you got to do some mental preparation, maybe some other types of preparation as well. But we'll be talking about that today and next Saturday as well. But how you feeling? You know, just want to keep that there. I'm not going to get into any of the politics out here. You know, you know what they are. So just how you feeling despite all. But the more important question is, what were your wins last week? What were your wins? You know, even if it's not school related, always just keep it in mind. This is for our mental health, right? Our emotional health, that we keep track of our wins, because it's so easy. I say it every week, and I'm gonna continue to say it every week. It is so easy to get to become so inundated and consumed by the challenges, the obstacles, the pressures, demands, the losses. As easy that we lose sight of the victories, of the triumphs, of the wins. So I ask you that question every Saturday morning. What were your wins? And I couple that with, what will you do next week to take your leadership to new heights? So this is Christmas week, so probably not much, but maybe that next week, before we get to the new year, during Kwanzaa, for those who celebrate, do I? Yes, big time, right? So for those of you, for all of you who you're going to be off next week, think about what 2026, how it will differ in terms of being better than 2025. How January will surpass December, right? How January will surpass May or September through December. You know, think about those things. Get the pen out, jot it down, right? Let's go. I got some announcements and I got a monologue, then I got my guest. Shout out to I said this last week, but it was in a different context. Dr. Obari Cartman out in Chicago, the Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu tribute that we did online last week. I talked about that, but now it's you can see it. So if you couldn't join us live, the tribute is actually on my Facebook page. Just scroll down a little bit. I posted it about maybe 3, 4, 5 days ago. So just scroll down and check it out. We did a great tribute. I had a good time with all the other folks on there, just paying homage, as they would say, to this great educator, you know, who's at the very foundation of me becoming an educator, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. Also, shout out to Eastern Suffolk County BOCES. I had an opportunity to speak to a room full of assistant principals on Long Island last week. I actually spoke last week. Isn't that something? I'm still working. But yeah, full day, just speaking to assistant principals. We had a great day too. And several of them are AP and New Principals Academy fam. So that was good to be in their presence as well. Let's turn that outlook off. Here we go. All right. So that was good. So shout out to them. Welcome to the first timers. But if this is in fact your first time here, that means you've missed 294 sessions. I've been doing this since the first Saturday in May 2020 in the midst of a pandemic when we were all locked in our homes. And I said, well, we're locked home. Let me talk to the APs out there. So it was called the Virtual AP Leadership Academy. And then a lot of them APs got jobs. They were telling me, man, your academy got me the job. So I had to rename it to the AP and New Principals Academy. But we use that, I kind of use that loosely. This is for everybody. If you're a veteran, it's for you. If you've been in this game for 20 years, it's for you, right? I don't want you to think, all right, I'm not new anymore. No, it's for you. I mean, what are we talking about? This different between a new principal and a veteran principal. Is that a different conversation? I mean, some of it is. It's in terms of acclimating yourself to the position. But then once you in it, it's the same conversation. Right. So so that's where that is. So go to YouTube and binge watch the 294 you missed. Go to AP New Principals Academy YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. Again, hit the subscribe button. One more time, hit the subscribe button. Let's throw a bonus in there. Hit the subscribe button. Be a part of the 24,700 subscribers. Yeah, we finally went up to the 700 mark. So 24,700 subscribers. Be a part of that. And then hit the notification bell so that you'll be informed when we go live, right? That's very important, right? And speaking of YouTube, I've been telling y'all for the past 2 or 3 weeks that I want to move exclusively to YouTube. I know that will be probably sabotage because there's a lot of people that don't tune in like regularly. They tune in when they can. So here's where I'm at. I thought I gave this a lot of thought on this plane I was on for the past few days. I went to New Orleans the other day, and I just went there for 2 days and came home. But on both flights, I want to be more YouTube heavy. Let's put it that way. But if you feel comfortable on Facebook, stay there. I'm not taking it off. If you feel comfortable on X, stay there. I'm not taking it off. If you feel comfortable on LinkedIn, stay there. I'm not taking it off. But I prefer to see you on YouTube. I get a couple of dollars to put gas in my new ride too, man, when y'all go on YouTube, right? But that's not here. That's neither here nor there, right? But when you go on YouTube, man, I got the new car outside. I told you I got a new ride. I hadn't had a car in 6 years. I've been taking Uber and riding my wife's car. It's not that I'm cheap. I didn't need a car. The airport, like I could walk there practically, right? Not really, but it takes like 10 minutes, right? So I decided to get this car. But now I need to put gas in it from time to time. So if y'all are on YouTube, I can go to the gas station and fill the tank, right? So, so help a brother out. Go to YouTube. Enough said. Where we at? Oh, yes. This, y'all, this. Check this out. It says Amir's Awakening, his amazing journey to ancient Egypt. I endorse this book. I'm not going to read all this this text here, but where we at? Let me revert. This is all me. I endorse this book. This is written by Dr. Sheikah Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, are not only fam, but part of my team, right? Our team, right? So Amir's Awakening, his amazing journey to ancient Egypt. If you're looking for a good holiday gift, a good Kwanzaa gift, or just a good gift for a child. And it doesn't have to be for a Black child. Let me be very clear about that. Because if you're not Black, your family that's not Black, this is a good read for you to learn what it is in terms of literature that speaks to Black people, right? So it's for everybody. But particularly if you're Black, you want to have some Black literature in your home. If you're not Black, you want to have some Black literature in your home. I mean, I have non-Black literature in my home, and I went K-12 having to read non-Black literature, right? So let's mix it up. So get yourself a copy. Where? At Amazon. Go to Amazon and put in Amir's Awakening, and it'll pop right up, right? Amir's Awakening. This is a great book. I love it, right? Get yourself a copy. That's, again, Dr. Sheikah Houston. You can put their names, Dr. Sheikah Houston or Dr. Tammy Taylor, either one. And Dr. Houston said available on Amazon. and the bundle with the activity guide in our Spotify store. So you can go to their Shopify store, right? So let me put that on the screen. There it is, right? So get yourself a copy. Get yourself a copy of Mirror's Awakening. His amazing journey to ancient Egypt. Y'all, real quick. I know I got guests, but I got to get this out the way. This one is very important. So let me put this up here. Got to put this up here. Got to put this up here. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? There we are. There we are. Let me put this up here. That don't even look right. Y'all ain't seeing that. Yes, you are. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, there we are. I should have changed the background, but we ain't got time for that. Y'all work with me for a minute, man. I got too much going on my screen. Too much going on. Where we at? Hide Sheikah for a second. Where we at? All right, now slide this over for a minute, for a second. Yeah, and that's not the right way. There we go. All right, y'all. I got the conference coming up. It's myself, Dr. Tanya Breland, who's not the wife, the mother. You heard of that country music star called Breland? Well, this is his mother, right? So Dr. Tanya Breland and Dr. Erica Leak, we got a conference on February 16th, President's Day. A lot of you will be off that day. So we want you to be a part of us as I change this screen a little something. Right, there we go. So we want you to be a part of us February 16th, Seton Hall University, Nurturing Greatness Summit 2026. Again, February 16th, President's Day. A lot of most schools will be closed. Some have PD, but I did a little AI search. Most schools don't have PD that day. So come on through to Seton Hall. You can register using the QR code. Just go ahead and get it in your phone now. I got it on the screen for you, or the website that you see on the bottom, right? But we'd love to see you at Seton Hall, South Orange, New Jersey. Again, South Orange, I can't assume people know where Seton Hall is, right? South Orange, New Jersey, not far from where I live in Jersey City. So come on and join us at the Nurturing Greatness Summit. We got some dynamite people, and look at my keynote. I keep saying mine as if it's my conference. I'm just co-hosting. Principal L is our keynoter. That's Dr. Salome Thomas L will be our keynote speaker. So you got to come on out here. Come on out here and be a part of us, right? Appreciate you. Let's get that out of there. And then next, my School Leadership Institute, July 9 and 10, Savannah, Georgia. That's my institute. That's our 9th annual. Come on out to Savannah and join me. I don't have the Eventbrite set up yet, but it will be going into the new school year. Come on and support the School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele, our 9th consecutive year, because we did it virtually during the pandemic. And we're talking leadership. You know, I don't know what area of leadership, but we'll be talking leadership, but we don't do the same thing twice. If you've ever been with us before, it'll be brand spanking new, right? So come on out here and join us in Savannah, Georgia. All right. Monologue time. And then I'm going to get to my guests. My monologue topic: remember, once the students walk into your building, they're yours. Once again, remember, once the students walk into your building, they're yours. What am I saying? You know, fam, hear me well. I read a lot on social media, and there are a lot of administrators, principal and APs, who are disgruntled, like want to leave. I'm all over the web just reading comments and folks who are frustrated, like, and what they're essentially saying is that this is not what I signed up for, right? This is overwhelming, right? I think I want to go back into the classroom. I think I want to go back into counseling. There's just so many people who are not happy with this work. I loved it. I'm not going to get into my story, but you all know that I did have a superintendent that I didn't like working for. But outside of that, I love those 14 years, right? So I'm saying that to say this. Whatever it is whatever the motivation was that inspired you to want to go into administration, you've got to keep that motivation close to the vest, right? You got to keep it right there, right? Because when you lose that, then it's like you just out there swimming. See, I had a certain motivation. There was a certain impetus as to why I went into administration in the first place. And I never lost sight of that. I'm not going to get into all that specificity in the monologue, but I never lost sight of that. That was my reason. That was my because. That was my purpose. That was my why. It was a very narrow vision of why I made the transition out of the classroom into administration. But I'm saying that to say this, going back to my topic. Remember, once the students walk into your building, and in my notes, I capitalized the word your building, they're yours, and that's capitalized as well. So now you got AP principal in the building with frustration. Well, how you going to lift these young people, these babies, and you got 1 foot out the door? How you going to do it? Those are your students. Those are your scholars. Those are your babies. So you can't be in that building with 1 foot out the door, or you can't be in that building where I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so frustrated, I don't really want this, but you know you're not going to make that kind of money doing nothing else. But the children are the ones who suffer under that circumstance. So I understand mental health. I understand emotional health. I mean, again, y'all know, those of you who know my story, you know what I went through during that era of my principalship. You understand that. So I get all that. But I'm saying this. If you're not all in, this is not for you. If you're not all in on your leadership, this is not for you. Abdicate the position and let somebody else have it, right? Who's going to be all in because of the name of the topic, the title of this monologue. Once the students are in the building, your building, they're yours. Those are yours. You are their parent as that principal, as that administrator. Their teachers are too, but you the big homie, right? You the principal in the building. Those are yours. And what are you doing to demonstrate that, to exhibit that? What is the evidence, the proof that you are operating in a way that you have not left out anybody, not one child in that building? And that's inclusive of who you are instructionally as it relates to your instructional relationship with a teacher. If you're not there for that teacher, you're not there for that child, baby. Let's be real on that. If you're not there as that coach, as that instructional leader, then that means that there are young Principal Kafeles sitting in your classrooms who may not be receiving what they need because you're so absent in the lives of the teachers, professionally speaking, right? So again, I'm going to say it one more time. Remember, once the students walk into your building, they're yours. You got to make sure that you demonstrate that on a regular basis. Enough said, y'all. I got guests. Let's bring them on up here. Let's bring them on up here. Good morning to you.
Morning. Good morning.
I'm glad to have y'all in here. Glad to have you here. I'm glad I got all my stuff out the way and we ready to rock and roll. To the fam out there, I met my guest, Vance. Is it McNear or Nair?
McNear, like far near.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Hey, you know, to the fam out there, I met my guest in San Antonio at the ASCD conference, and this was June. And I knew right then and there I needed him on this platform, but I was booked until today, right? So we had to wait all this time, and now here we are. This is a dynamite team of administrators. Principal and AP Vance McNear is the principal, and Michelle Todd-Coleman is the assistant principal, and they're at an elementary school in Philadelphia, PA, right? But I wanted to have them on here. Then we got to see each other again at the Black Men in Education convening under good brother Sharif El-Mekki, right? So we knew that we were coming on this date, and here we are. So let me read these bios, y'all. I'm gonna do my fast version. I'm gonna read fast. Vance McNear, MED, is a highly strategic and results-driven urban school leader dedicated to systemic accountability, equitable access, and creative inclusive environment, serving as the dedicated principal of Edwin Forrest Elementary Pre-K-5 in the school district of Philadelphia. He leads a community of 840 students and approximately 120 staff members, bringing 18 years of experience across teaching, administration, leadership, within urban education. His core philosophy is rooted in ensuring every student is safe, cared for, educated, supported, valued, so they can thrive. In education, to his administrative duties, Principal McNear is an active voice in educational dialogue. He has been featured on panel discussions and podcasts focused on effective instructional practices and promoting professional growth among leaders. He recently appeared on the MCEL Next Man Up podcast to contribute to the critical dialogue among Black men in leadership. Furthermore, he formerly serves as the co-facilitator of the Black Male Leaders Think Tank, where he actively facilitates on topics for professional growth for Black men in educational leadership. Principal McNear's commitment to executive leadership and system-level impact is demonstrated through his ongoing professional development. He's currently enrolled in both the Superintendent Letter of Eligibility Certification program at Holy Family University, where he will continue to pursue his doctorate, and Howard University Academy for Superintendents. He holds a Master's Science in Special Education from Gwinnett Mercy College and a Master's Science in Urban School Leadership from Temple University, following his undergrad Bachelor of Business Administration from LaSalle University. A South Philadelphia native, Principal McNear was instilled with a calling to servant leadership from his parents, a bishop and an evangelist. He and his wife, Shaquina, an educator, have 5 children, and he coaches his youngest daughter's travel softball team. Imagine that. He's also a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. That's Vance McNear, y'all, soon to be doctor, one day to be superintendent. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Michelle Todd-Coleman, career dedicated to education leadership. Michelle Todd-Coleman is the distinguished educational leader from the city of Philadelphia, whose 23-year career in the school district of Philadelphia has focused on student advocacy, teacher support, and breaking down systemic barriers. Michelle built her expertise through 18 years in the classroom, teaching both elementary school and middle years English. This deep teaching foundation led her to transition into leadership as a school-based teacher leader, where she began to formally coach and support her colleagues. This transition paved the way for her current role as an assistant principal, with her administrative philosophy centered on empowering teachers and providing them with the necessary support to transform student lives. Michelle is a vital contributor to district excellence, serving in the key professional development and leadership roles as a co-facilitator of the Black Women Leaders Think Tank, where she actively facilitates professional growth and dialogue among Black women in leadership. An assistant principal mentor who supports and guides fellow assistant principals in navigating their daily administrative roles. She has been a curriculum writer, leveraging her teaching expertise in design core instructional materials and in Pathways to Leadership, Aspiring Principals Academy as a successful participant in a rigorous program demonstrating her readiness for advanced leadership. She's a program affiliate for the LaSalle University Writers Matter program and member of the Black Women's Educational Alliance of Philadelphia. Michelle's an active board member for Breakthrough of Greater Philadelphia, which supports academic enrichment and college preparedness for highly motivated, traditionally under-supervised students, and a former board member of the Unscripted Project, dedicated to equipping students with critical social-emotional skills through improvisational theater. Finally, Michelle Todd-Coleman is an essential, and I'm stuttering, y'all, because I'm reading so fast, is an essential, experienced voice in modern educational leadership, dedicated to continuing to break barriers for all students. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, to the fam out there, you know what we do. Hit that share button, hit that repost button, hit that retweet button, hit that like button, hit the tag, reach out to those Facebook groups, hit them up, and also tag somebody, text somebody, call somebody, let them know we are here, we are live. Let's go. Hey, Vance, you know, obviously just through the bio alone, you're multifaceted, but that's just in the bio. Then life outside the bio, there's so much more to you, obviously. But I want to focus on this one component of you as a principal. Who is Vance McNear?
It's a good question. First of all, thank you for having me on here. Second of all, Michelle, the way he read you, man, you was kind, you were smart, you was important. That's how. you sound smart, girl. Who is Vance McNear?
Hey, Vance, before you go, the fam out here, I told you this. I told you last week this is going to be an energetic couple of people that I got coming on. So you already got a taste of it, right? So it's going to get live on here today. So you better let somebody know. Go ahead, Vance.
I'm trying to hold back. All right. Honestly, I'm a servant. That's who Vance McNear is. I'm a servant. Growing up in South Philly, my mom was a single parent. Around 8, 9 years old, she started going to this church, and then she started dating this guy. The guy just happened to be, the pastor of the church. No, he wasn't married. And they got married. They got married like around 12. And that's when I had a daddy. And seeing him work. I mean, this man worked and worked and worked. He would work a full-time job. He was Church of God in Christ. So, we have church all day, every day. He worked a full-time job, get off of work, either pick me up from football practice or drop me off or whatnot. And then he would have Wednesday night service, a Monday night service, Sunday service all day, 11 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And he would visit the sick and shut in. He would pray for people. We would walk down the street and they say, Bishop. Well, he was pastor at the time. Pastor, can you pray for me? And he just wouldn't stop. Then I saw him go to school at the same time. So he would work, go to school, preach, do all these things. And I had an example growing up of what a servant is. And so I can't help but to serve. Like, I'm the type of guy I get in the weeds. And Michelle could attest to this. If the snow needs to be shoveled here, I shovel the snow. If there's the stairs need to be swept, I'm sweeping. If somebody needs help in the kitchen, I'm helping in the kitchen. I just can't help it. So who is Vance McNear? Vance McNear is a servant.
Servant leadership. I'm like you. I didn't shovel, but I did everything else, right? I did everything else, man. It's just, it's my school. Like I said in the monologue, it's my place. I want to stay with you for a second. Your bio, Vance, indicates that you are a highly strategic and results-driven urban school leader dedicated to systemic accountability, equitable access, and creating inclusive environments. I want you to break down, what do you mean by systemic accountability?
The only reason why I pause is because I know people are on this call other than myself and Michelle. So I'm trying to figure out how to say this in an appropriate way.
Right.
My school is in Northeast Philadelphia. Northeast Philadelphia has some history to it. That's not has some good history and has some bad history. Mm-hmm. When I first got to my school, my Forest is a wonderful school. Like it has 850 students. We have 20 different languages, and we're represented in this building 30 different countries. So we have a very diverse population. It is my job as the instructional leader to ensure that everybody gets a shot, that everybody is supported, that everybody feels valued, whether that's me trying to attempt to say good morning in 4 or 5 different languages, whether me trying to go out to, we have a partnership with Temple University in a Temple Life Project. And what they do is they come out, we go to them and they come to us. They supply us with teachers, and PD around multilingual learners. It's me ensuring that everybody is safe, cared for, supported, and valued, that they get that access opportunity, and dismantling the systems that stop them from getting that access and opportunity. That's the key. It's one thing for us to say, I want this kid to get a shot. What are we doing to make that happen? How do we dismantle the systems? Again, this system was not really meant for us to be in. And so what I attempt to do, and I have a lot of help. I thank God for Michelle and the rest of my leadership team. Shout out to them. But we try our best to ensure that every student, every community member, even every teacher gets a shot either at becoming their best selves.
I love it. I love it. I mean, what better place than a place where the intentionality is helping people to become their best self, staff and students. If I can be student in a school and there's an intentionality around ensuring that I'm the best version of me, right? Mm-hmm. Intentionality of the best for a teacher to be the best version of him or herself as that classroom teacher. What better place is there for me to work, or be a student? Good stuff. Good stuff. Michelle, Todd-Coleman, same thing. There's a lot in the bio. Both of you, they're both pretty rich, but then there's so much more to you than what you have in a bio, right? So my question, though, to compartmentalize Michelle, Todd-Coleman, as an assistant principal, because we're going to talk about some of the other aspects of you in a few minutes, but as an assistant principal, who is Michelle Todd-Coleman?
So I would definitely say that I would actually have to piggyback off of Vance, where I say that I'm a servant leader, but also a transformative leader. I actually, because the way that I got into this role was because someone believed in me, because someone gave me an opportunity that I did not necessarily, that I wouldn't grant myself. So when you see leadership abilities in someone else, then it's your duty to make sure that you bring out those their leadership capabilities. You see people for their strengths rather than focusing on what they're doing wrong. So in that way, I would consider myself a transformative leader. As far as being a servant leader, 100%. I want to. My whole thing is I want to be there to support my teachers, support all stakeholders, parents, students in whatever capacity is necessary, and not push anyone away and not judge anyone for whatever it is that they may be going through or for their deficits. I look at deficits and say, okay, so how can we support you? What can we do to make you a stronger individual? And that comes for parents as well, because, sometimes parents need support and they may be embarrassed about certain things that they need or what they're going through. Parents, Principal Kafele, they go through things in their personal lives. And what some parents don't understand is that it does affect their child, but they don't understand that it's affecting their child. So rather than that parent getting upset with the child, my job is to also make sure that the parent understands that this child is acting out for a reason. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some changes that are happening at home. And I actually had to go through that just this week, where one of my students was acting out, but it was an abnormal acting out. And we're talking a kindergarten student at that, who's not necessarily able to, voice what's going on with them. So I called the parent and I said, well, let me ask you, were there any changes at home? And before, the parent didn't necessarily want to say, but I also had to say it's okay, because we want to support the child and we want to bring you in, like to support this child. So being a servant leader is definitely important as a leader, because you have to be understanding, you have to be empathetic for all stakeholders. Mm-hmm.
I got a follow up for you before I get to my written follow up on what you just said. And this is really for folks out here on the call, or who will see the video later, who are in the early stages, maybe even aspiring. In the capacity of an assistant principal, how does one, like what does that look like to be transformative within that role of AP? And I ask you this, Michelle, because we know stereotypically, although it's also real, that an AP can be a full-time disciplinarian, cafeteria duty, bus duty, right?
Yeah.
So here I'm hearing something very different coming from you. So what does that look like in your capacity?
I have to be honest, it looks amazing, but it wouldn't happen without my principal, because my principal, even though he only mentioned servant leader, he's also a transformational leader as well, because he allows his leadership team to make decisions that doesn't necessarily, we go through him. Of course, we have our leadership team meeting every week. And then we have informal meetings all the time as well. And it's just like, we'll run something to him. And, Vance is the kind of person that if it makes sense, then let's do it. If it's for the students, then let's do it. If it's for the parents, then let's do it. If it supports the teachers in order for them to be better for the students, then let's do it. So for me, being able to be that kind of leader only comes from the top. So I look at, again, I said this before, I look at people's strengths. I do not focus on their weaknesses unless it's a person who continuously wants to just not be there for our students. If it's not student-centered, it's not for us at our school. So there are things that I may have started at the school. And I told Vance, I said, when I'm gone, everything that I've started is sustainable. And I've always said that if you go to a school and you're a leader at a school, whether it's principal or AP, if you can leave that school and the systems that you put in place are sustainable, then you've done a great job. Meaning that I'm not a micromanager. I don't need to have control over everything because I can't do it. So, and also I can't do everything. So things that I want to see happen in my area of responsibilities, I want to make sure that it's sustainable, and I may hand it off to someone or we work on it together. So we come from a very collaborative community. So when you're building other people up and you're building their capacity, it makes them happier. It makes them feel valued at their job. And you just, like we make sure that we praise people for the things that they do.
Can I jump in?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Michelle, we go do our thing real quick. So
what's our thing?
we about to go back and forth. Because first of all, thank you for saying that it came from the top, because one thing I had to learn as a principal, maybe this would be good for some new principals, is that you can't control everything. You have to let go. If you want people to grow, you got to allow people to be themselves. I have this idea that, this is our school and this is our vision. But even though it's our vision, you have to have your thumbprint in the vision, or it's not yours. That's how you have buy-in. So if there is something going on that Michelle is running, that's Michelle's thing. I have another AP, her name is Renee. If there's something going on that Renee's running, that's her thing. I'm here to support you on running your thing or your initiative within our school's vision. We hold each other accountable. And it's not easy. I know principals who have egos and they got to run everything. I throw my ego out the window and say, "Hey guys, this is how I feel right now. Am I right or wrong?" And there'll be like 6, 7, 8 people in the room, and I allow everybody to take their shot, and then I say, "Okay, all right, maybe I need to change up some things." And because I do that, everybody else does it. So all of a sudden now we are a cohesive team that holds each other accountable when things go awry or when things go good. Sometimes we celebrate stuff. In my opinion, the school district of Philadelphia is really, really data heavy driven. Yeah. All of us know our data. My climate managers know our data. The school counselors know the data. The SPECM, we also know for our acronyms. The special ed person knows the data. But we all depend on each other to make that data grow, and we hold each other accountable. We are not perfect. Sometimes we argue like cats and dogs. Michelle can come into the office and this teacher, this parent, that, this child, this, and I'll be this superintendent, this I did that. Michelle, I gotta put your business out. One day Michelle came into the office and she was trying to go for a particular position. She didn't get the position, and she said, she took a temper tantrum. She said, "Look, I ain't going to this meeting. I ain't doing nothing." And I said, "Nope, you go keep your head up and you go to the meeting." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." "Vance, don't talk to me." "All right." So I started texting her, "You go to the meeting."
And Principal Kafele, it was for a school. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It was for a school, and I did not get it. Not because I'm not capable, because I am.
No, it's a lot of different things.
But it was definitely a different reason, and I did have a temper tantrum. And I will say that Vance, it's the text, the side text. You need to talk. You need to talk. No, So, but yeah, that helps me. And I was at that meeting.
Yeah, she did. Well, she had on sunglasses. She looked like she was going to a funeral, but
it was a funeral. It was.
It wasn't a funeral. Yes, it was the death of bad thinking. No,
it was the death of my ego.
Birth of a growth mindset. No, but
something. One of our guests. I mean, one of the fam out here. This was one of my guests a few weeks ago, which she put, Dr. Salma Hussein, who's Somali from up in Minneapolis. And I referenced she's Somali only because of the politics around that right now. But she said not yet, didn't get the position yet, sis. Right? It's coming.
It's coming. She gonna get it. It's coming.
That's right. That's right. I'm off script now, y'all. We might not even get through this because you said something. And like to the fam out there, we have a topic, right? And we're gonna get to that topic, but there's some things coming up in the preliminary discussion that I want to kind of hammer as well. Now, you said you don't have an ego; you throw the ego out the window. Yes. Somebody in the world, someone in the universe, they may not be on this call, but there's somewhere in the universe. They may say, "Yeah, that sounds good, Principal," but you bring an ego to your principalship. That's not me. Because I live this, but somebody in the world, that's where the thinking is. How do you respond to that person that, no, I'm not egocentric with my leadership. I really am about the people around me. How are you responding to that? And that's the
sometimes you talk through actions versus just talk. I could easily say, I'm not ego driven. People come up to me all the time and say, "Wow, Forrest this and Forrest that," and that's how I kind of want it. I know I'm the principal of Forrest, but I'm not alone. Sometimes people will say, "If the data says this, I will actually bring up the person who worked on that project and make the data go that way." I got a Forrest shirt on now. This ain't Vance. This is Forrest. I'm in Forrest. All my background and stuff, all this is Forrest. This is not made up. If you come in my office, yes, I got a bunch of toys in here. You have to take yourself out. The only way Michelle as an AP is going to grow is if I take myself out. We have a great team. If she leaves, guess what? I have to adjust and find somebody else to replace her. Not to necessarily, because she's, in my opinion, she's irreplaceable, but whoever comes next is going to bring themselves and whatever skills they have to the table. But I know administrators who control everything so much that their APs, their climate managers and L points, they don't go anywhere because they don't want whatever they got to be dismantled. But Michelle never learned. Michelle will never be able to learn or grow as a leader if I don't let go. Therefore, if I let go, that means I let ego go. The Bible says pride comes before the fall. I have pride in what I do, but I'm not a prideful person. And if I make a decision and I feel like it's a prideful decision, I actually sit there and I'll start to question myself, is this a prideful decision and why? And then I'll actually call 2 or 3 or 4 people and then ask them the same question. And then be like, "Oh, well, I told you," Michelle knows that I do this. "I told you not to do that. I know you told me not to do that, but I called 3 or 4 other people just in case, because I'm not perfect. and I need this to be student centered. You don't want to make it prideful, make it all about the kids. Make it all about the person you're trying to grow. Make it all about the initiative that you're trying to push.
Well, can I just say something, Vance? I do believe that it's okay to be prideful, and it's honestly okay to have an ego, because if we didn't, we wouldn't do the things that we do. Bragging and boasting is also a good thing to a point, to an extent. You know, it's not to the point where you're turning people off, but being prideful in what you do, because it keeps you going. And that energy that people feed you in a positive way because of the things that you've done, that you have to say the things that you've done, or you don't always have to say because people see it. But it's like when people want to know, how did you do it? Then yeah, you're going to have to
Speak to it. Yep.
is going to have to lead that discussion, because you have to talk about how you got to do what it is that you did. So in some occasions it is okay. But yes, when it comes to our leadership team, I would definitely say he gives us the floor. And that was not easy for me, especially for me when I first came to the school, because when I first got to the school, Vance was he was the assistant principal that moved into the principal role, which is amazing. And then two, it was my first year in a school under a leadership where I felt like I can grow and learn, but I wasn't sure. So that confidence, I had to build my confidence up. That first year, I was very quiet. I actually cried a lot my first year as an AP here at this school. And I learned to actually talk about the things that were upsetting me because I felt like I didn't have a voice. So Vance actually stopped a meeting, I remember, and he said everybody needs to be heard, because I just felt like I kept being shut down. Because something that new APs need to know is that when you come into an already established environment, it can be very, very difficult to feel like you have a voice, because you're not there to make changes immediately. You're not there you're not there just to make changes. I'll just say that, to change the culture, you're not there for all of that. Even though sometimes being an AP, you're like stuck in the middle. I'm gonna be honest. It is, you're in a position where you're absolutely stuck in the middle. You are the middleman between teachers, and you're the middleman and the principal. And you don't really make major decisions of the school, because at the end of the day, the major decision comes from the principal. So when you're a new AP at an already established school, you're trying to find your footing, you're trying to find your voice, and you spend a long time trying to find that. You're trying to build relationships. And yes, the same thing goes for a first year principal, but as an AP, a principal can still make decisions. If people don't have to like it, but they're still going to, follow those directives because it's coming from the principal. But when it's coming from the AP and you're new, and it's just like, I'm not sure if I have to listen to you. I know I do, but let me check with the principal, because I don't really have to listen to you. And, I've gotten stuck with things like that. So the first year was difficult. So if you're a first year AP in a new position, it's hard. That it is tough on your mentality. It's tough on your emotions. And it also, sometimes you may question your leadership capabilities, even though you belong there. I questioned myself a lot when I first got here, because I wasn't sure if I belonged here. But then I think by the end of the first year, and especially the second year, when I was able to voice some of the things that I'd gone through, and I had a principal who actually listened. And that's the importance about the importance about, that principal. That principal has to be secure enough in their position and their leadership skills to say, let me step back and listen to this person and see what it is they need to grow and learn. And that's what I was actually able to get towards the end of my first year as an AP here at this school, and his first year as a principal. It was a crazy dynamic. It was crazy. But go ahead.
No, because I was going to say, as that's interesting you said that, because as a first year principal, coming from the assistant principal in the same school, that transition was tough. especially since I had you. You and I were both APs at the same time. Our first year
Yeah.
was the same time in the same network.
Yeah.
When I became a principal, you came to my school. I was like, okay, cool. All right. I know her. She's dope. All right, great. Then I also had an AP who had been a principal or an administrator for over 20 years. So I'm sitting here as a new principal trying to figure out, how do I grow someone who's been in the business for who's a veteran, and I got somebody who pretty much was my partner. We're sitting next to each other taking notes in PD over the previous years. So I had to figure out how to navigate that dynamic. And in Philadelphia, except for the Northeast, all the other places in Philadelphia, you have 100, 150, 200, 300 kids. I got 850 kids. So I was like, wow, huh? And we were in 2 different buildings. One building was getting worked on and getting renovated. So we had to move 550 kids from our building 2 miles down the block, 2.5 miles down the block, into a whole nother building that had siblings and parents. It was crazy. It was quite an experience, but it taught us, and we rose to the occasion, and we definitely worked together to get things done. I had a coach, shout out to Jason Harris. He pretty much told me, he said, Vance, how are you going to grow your people? And I said, what? I got to grow my people? Yeah. And then I'm not even going front. Anytime, I'm not going to lie, anytime I moved to a different position, I did buy your book. Yeah. So I had the T50, I had the AP 50. My wife gave me the AP 50. Then I bought them. I was like, oh, look. And then I started reading all this stuff. Okay. So pretty much, all right, it's not my building. All right, whatever they say, go. Be respectful, blah, blah, blah. Okay, got it. And then all of a sudden I bought the Principal 50. And then, which is funny, because after I had the AP 50, I gave it to her.
Me.
And then she said, well, who's this? I said, you don't know who that is? Look, she got it. I said, you don't know who that is?
Yep.
You don't know that? Read the book. And so I
did not
read the book. And then I believe a buddy of ours, Krista Smalley, she gave her the principal, because she gave her the Principal 50, and that's another principal in the district.
Wow.
You gave me this.
You blessing me.
You know.
And then all right, I'm gonna do another plug, because your new book, I'm sitting here like, oh man, how am I really doing? What is my instructional? How am I doing this? Do I know enough instruction? So it's ego. It's I don't have to be seen. It's okay for my people to be seen, because my people are under my umbrella. I don't know everything instructional. She was an ELA teacher. I was a special ed teacher. I know everything. Now, I don't know everything special ed, but at the time, and my mind is like, all right, I know SPED, but I don't know ELA. So I had to allow her to be who she is and do her thing. Same thing with my other principal. I'm babbling. Go ahead. I'm gonna stop.
No, it's good stuff. Let's keep moving. I'm gonna take a chance on this, because I want to hear. I'm still on that second part of my questioning with Michelle, but something came up here. I want you. Let me say this to y'all real quick. This is to the two of you. I got a lot of pages here, right? keep that in mind, right? So we can get through a lot of this. But I gotta put this back up. I had it up. Martina Smith. I don't know her. She said, I'm waiting for someone to have that type of confidence in me. I love the confidence you all have in one another. Michelle, obviously I know some of your background as far as Black women in leadership, and we're going to get into that before we get specifically into our topic. But for now, can you do me a favor? I don't know her, as far as I know. Could you speak to her?
Wow, that is. Martisha or Martisha.
Yeah, Martisha.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
Your name incorrectly. Please accept my apologies.
Yeah, I'm not even, my vision's blurred. Yeah,
so,
Martisha.
So I would say that your confidence comes from within. You cannot wait for someone to have confidence in you, because if you wait for someone to have confidence in you, you're going to be waiting for a very, very long time. People don't care, it's a shame, but people really don't care about what you're confident in. You have to show them that you're confident in whatever it is that you do. So Don't take on anything that you know you're not good at. If you are taking on something that you're not good at, then get a collaborative partner if you're trying to grow in that area. But I would say where your strengths are, take a moment. The Christmas break is coming. Take a moment and think about, what are your strengths? What are your goals? What is it that you want to achieve by the end of this school year? And work on that. If you have to work on your own, then you're going to have to do it. If you can find one person in your building, it may not be your principal, because all principals do not care about their APs. They don't. I've talked to a lot of APs, and they don't. And one thing I will say about it, to any AP out there, please find your community, find your people, because your people they're going to be the ones that's going to get you through this position. You have principals who are not strong instructionally. You have principals who are not strong as leaders. They got the position one way or another. And this is across the United States. People get positions because of who they know, because of what they know, or whatever. So you're not always going to have that principal who knows everything. You're not always going to have that principal who's able to give you advice. And sometimes APs come in and they may be stronger than the principal. And that happens as well. So, and they know that AP could very well run the building without them. And so that breaks down their confidence. So your job is not to break down the confidence of your principal, because at the end of the day, your principal is your boss. That is your leader. And if you don't have the relationship where you can build one another up, because that's how I feel. Like wherever Vance may not be strong out, we want to make sure that we're strong for him. And I'm not going to say me, I'm going to say we, because we have a leadership team that works together.
Dynamite wanted that.
So we want to, exactly, a dynamite team. So you want to make sure that you're building that principal up. But if that situation is not there, then you want to make sure that you find your community of APs, see what they're doing, get advice from them, visit their school. And you can visit schools. You cannot, like, your principal can't say, oh, you can't do that. You can't visit a school. You can, because that helps you grow. If you have any AP meetings that you guys have, take those opportunities to talk to people. Don't be afraid to say what's going on, and don't be afraid to let people know where you're lacking, like where you want to build yourself up, because we're human. So we make mistakes. You talk about the mistakes you made. If you see someone doing something well, if you were in a conference or if you were in a meeting or something and someone was talking about something they were doing well, you go up to that person and you say, hey, you were talking about this or that. Can you give me more insight on what it is that you did? So those things are important. Find your community, find it. No one's going to build up your confidence but you. And once you start to exude your confidence in what you can do, then that principal's either going to see you for who you are or not. And at the end of the day, you don't have to stay at that school.
I was about to say that.
Once you build up your confidence and you know the strength and you build your strengths, you build on those strengths, then you can go wherever you want to go. You do not 100% do not pigeonhole yourself into one building. Don't do it.
May I just real quick?
Yeah.
To 2 minutes. So, and for those principals who are that principal who does not allow your APs to do what they can do and lead, you're not being a good principal. That's just my personal opinion. You have to allow your people to lead. That's the reason why I say I don't lead with my ego, because I have two APs. One is math content specific. One is ELA content specific. When folk come in and they say, "Hey, Vance, we want to do a math walkthrough," I call my APs. I walk with them, but I let my APs do the talking. I let my APs do the talking at different network. We are a network of schools. So like in our network, we have like 14 different schools. It's all clustered in the same neighborhood. So when they come and we do walkthroughs and we have these network meetings, I let my APs talk because they need to be heard because they are a part of the work that we're doing. I know I'm the principal. Me leading doesn't necessarily mean I'm doing everything. I can't. The school's too big. Barack Obama didn't do everything. Bezos is not on customer service asking people. I don't know where your Amazon package is. So you got to get over that. You got to allow people to be themselves authentically, because people will grow in their authenticity. I'm done.
No, I love it. I love it. Let me go to my part two for Michelle here, and I'm coming from your bio. Your bio indicates that your 23-year career in the school district of Philadelphia has focused on student advocacy, teacher support, and breaking down systemic barriers. Mm-hmm. I wanted to focus on that last part. What are you saying? Again, within the work you do, and your work is not limited to your role as AP, obviously, and we're going to get into that in the next round of questioning. But what are you saying to us when you say breaking down systemic barriers?
So, Vance, he already said that that we know that this school system was not built for us at all.
Right.
Dr. Patina Love talks about that in her books. That this system was not built for us, and
so therefore it's not broken.
What you say?
So therefore it's not broken.
Well, no, it's not broken.
It's doing what it was designed to do.
Exactly, it is doing 100% what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
And it's the testing and everything, but I work in a system that it's, when I say breaking down systemic barriers as a teacher, I did what I had to do to make sure that every one of my students came out as successful as possible. I'm not saying that I was 100% successful, but I will tell you this, that every class that I had, when those students left my room, and I taught at a school in West Philly, I had some the 8th grade. I had some thugs who were already in the streets as an 8th grade student. Mm-hmm. Students who were pregnant, but when they were in my classroom, it was about the education that I was giving them and the passion that I had for it. I never wanted anyone to believe that the life they're living is the life that they have to live, because I came from, a very interesting background growing up. It was not the norm, but and I'm not going to get into all of that, but my story is my story. I embrace my story because my story keeps me strong. It keeps me going, and it keeps the passion going inside of me. That's that fire inside of me because of where I came from. And I grew up in West Philly. I'm from Philly. I went to Philadelphia public schools. So that's where I talk about, and the more I read and the more I learn about how this system was not built for us, how, the desegregation of schools was not made for us. Sometimes in a way it caused a disservice for us. And then how in my neck of the woods and in my little corner of my life, what can I do to make sure that my students understand that that we have, culturally responsive education? Like, where can we find that area where students can relate to? Where can we find that area where students enjoy coming to school? And it's not a prison. It's not somewhere where you come in where you have to, where people don't speak to you, where people don't smile at you. It starts from within, breaking down those barriers, those systemic barriers. It starts from how you make a child feel when they come into your building, how you make a child feel accepted when they come into that building, and also how teachers understand that what they say to children and how they treat children affects them forever. And for me, the reason why I am where I am, for me, the reason why I'm the person that I am was because of the teachers that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to college. I didn't come from a background where, you know, everybody went to college and this is just what we do. And our family is so elite. I'm not from that. That's not me, you know? So just going to college, I had teachers in high school who put me in programs. I didn't even know they did that. I would get a letter in the mail. This is, you know, no email. So I would get a letter in the mail saying, you are part of this program. You need to, you know, come on this day at this time. And I got a job at the Environmental Protection Agency from a teacher who recommended me because I was very good in science, biology. That was really my thing. And I didn't do it because I don't even know if I was good in biology because I was good in biology. I did it because I loved my teachers. And I was just like, I can do this. I was good at music because I loved my teachers. I was good in certain things because that teacher empowered me. So that's why when I talk to my teachers at this school and any school that I am in charge of, I let them know you are the one who's going to empower those students. You are the one who have to give them a voice. You are the one that has to make them feel special. Because if you don't do it and they're not hearing it at home because their parents came from a school system that was not built for them. So how can we change the narrative for this child based on what's in the locus of our control? And what's in our control is what's happening inside of that classroom.
Right.
Love it. Love it. You know, I almost want to jump right into the heart of my topic, but I do want to ask you these questions. Do me a favor. Give me your short answers, but give me your most impactful on these. But I definitely wanted to touch on these, starting with Vance. You're in a variety of circles surrounding the professional development of Black male leaders, according to your bio. Why, Vance, why the interest in this particular area of concentration that you focus on in leadership regarding Black men?
Because there's not enough of us here in this particular educational space. In Philly, I think we're lucky because we have a nice amount visibly of Black male principals. We also have, we're starting to have a nice amount of Black male assistant principals. However, depending on who the principal is of that particular assistant principal, that Black man may be used for climate. I need you to go into the cafeteria and calm them kids down. I need you to go outside and need you to do admissions. I need you to do dismissal. I went to a conference just last week. It's called MCEL, Men of Color in Educational Leadership. And Harrison, he got onto the stage and he showed us this slide, and the slide showed the percentages of you know, it's I can't remember the exact percentages, but I'll just make them up. Let's say 10% of Black men make up principals or administration, 10% make up superintendents, 10% make up school boards. I said, okay. I hear this all the time. And then his next slide, it turned it. And I said, wow. And he actually flipped it and it said 90% of superintendents are white.
Yeah.
90% of principals or administrators are white. 90% of board members are white. And nothing against white people. It's just that there aren't enough of us present to be able to contribute to our own education and our own educational moves, our own educational policy, which is the reason why we keep saying this is not built for us. Obviously, it's not built for us because us wasn't there when it was built or when policy is created. When Michelle has spoken about community, we have to create our own community, and it's tough because of the political landscape. It's getting tougher to do that. However, we are still coming up with ways. If you want to call it an underground railroad, that's what it is. We're coming up with ways to still build community within ourselves so we can say, you know what, you can make it, you can do it. Vance, maybe you shouldn't be that hard on that particular teacher or in that meeting. You are projecting that you are, I've heard this before, you know, the angry black man, or same thing with Michelle, because she's in the black women think tank, I'm in the black male think tank, and she's a leader over there and I'm a leader over here. And when we have our meetings, we're actually even our buildings at the same time are going separate places. And then sometimes we'll come back and then have conversations about not going too deep, because whatever they talk about is whatever they talk about, whatever we talk about is whatever.
That's right. And that's right. Go ahead.
I knew you was good. You see how I try to fix that, because I don't want nobody thinking that you've given up secrets. She's not giving up secrets, y'all.
I know.
However, we do debrief about how we move forward and how we can actually bring that back. I have. All right, so like when I came to my school,
give me the short response on that. Give me the short one. Only because I want to hit this topic.
That's pretty much it. It's pretty much us. It's for community to build us up, to ensure that we are ready for the fight, man. Because that's what it is. We battling against these principalities, and we just, you know, it's not against people. So we you know, we have to do what we need to do to keep us going and to build our own capacity so we can save our own kids.
Now, when you think about the work you do in that area, is there a particular area of focus within leadership that you focus on, or is it pretty much the totality of school leadership for Black men?
It's both. It depends. It's a group of us, so it's about 4 on the team, and we sit and we take you know, we sit there, we look at what's going on in the times, and then we say, okay, what are we going to you know, what are we going to talk about? What would be most impactful for these principals and these leaders? Also, we send out surveys to understand what they're going through as well. Like our latest one, we looked at education in the time today, especially again with the political landscape. We looked at city, we looked at state, and we looked at national. We got all these different newspaper articles, and we pasted them all over the place. We had a room for city, a room for state, and a room for national. And we all came in and we divided everybody up, and we actually just had to sit down and talk about it and say, how do you feel within this space? You know, Philadelphia, we're going through a facilities planning project that we may have to close. We're not going. There's going to be some changes. We may have to close some schools and repurpose some schools. People may lose their job. And so, with that being said, we are trying now heavily with the work of El Mekki and a couple other brothers in the district, trying to create pipelines for young Black boys to get through. And to get here where I'm at, you know, I remember somebody on your, and I don't know how. Give me the time limit. Tell me when to stop. There was a couple episodes you had back where I think it was a Latino brother, and he said how he was on social media, and I forgot what it's called. How you scroll up and it's just, analytics. It kept saying how negative becoming a teacher was. And it's not negative. We are needed. Black men are needed.
The algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm.
Yeah.
It just kept bringing up negative stuff.
Yeah.
But we're needed. Our kids need to see themselves in us. And so, you know, it was a female-dominated education. Was a female-dominated job. You know. There needs, if I'm a Black man in a school and I'm the only Black male teacher with nobody to talk to, I could be going through things and I have nobody to talk to. So we really focus in on building community. We focus in on instruction, because again, anytime a Black male gets into a school building and they start to go up, especially, I hate to say it, especially if they like 6'2" and they have a little bit of weight on them. Hey, I need you to break up this fight. No, that's not my job. My job, I'm supposed to be in classrooms. I'm supposed to be observing. I'm supposed to be giving feedback. I'm supposed to be doing data meetings. I'm supposed to be leading PLC. So what we're trying to really do is focus in on building capacity and not just hanging out, having a powwow, chilling.
Got it. Michelle, real quick, you according to your bio, you're a vital contributor to district excellence, serving in key professional development and leadership roles as a co-facilitator of the Black Women's Leaders Think Tank, where you actively facilitate professional growth and dialogue among Black women in leadership. From your vantage point, what are some of the challenges that Black women in school leadership face? And were any of these challenges your own challenges?
Now I want to hear nothing about your hair.
What?
Nothing.
What did you say?
I don't want to hear nothing about your hair.
No, don't start, Vince. Do not start. Okay.
Vance, I can't go to this meeting without my hair. All right, well, brush it. Come on.
Oh my God, I cannot with you. Sorry, Principal Kafele.
No, well, I already knew what y'all brought. You know, from when I met you, so nothing can surprise.
I gotta leave. Vance, can I leave early? Get my nails done. What?
You just didn't think it was going to be put on Front Street.
Show me nails.
Okay, so some of the issues that we face are from principals when they show you text messages saying, "Can you stay late because of this and that?" And I say, "No, I can't because I have to get my nails done because it's Christmas and I have to get Christmas nails." Anyway, but back to the question. You get on my nerves. I want to shout out Dr. Sia Beckwith because she leads our Black Women Leaders Think Tank with the School District of Philadelphia. She is amazing. She brings a group of us together to discuss and collaborate what we find, what Black women find are important within the realm of their job as a school leader in the School District of Philadelphia. It is absolutely an amazing communion of women who come together and they get a chance to be heard. Again, that is about, building community and finding your community and finding your people, and just discussing some of those things that arise. So for me, when I think about Black women in the schools, it's a sensitive topic for me because I see many Black women in struggling schools. And I've talked to Vance about that because it hurts me, and because I think about the health of Black women. I think about the health of that we go through, Black women and Black men as well. But since we're talking about Black women, I might as well, just focus on that. Black women have things, fibroids, they have high blood pressure, heart disease, and many of the elements that holds them down, and that stress, those stress factors in the environment. Sometimes we don't realize that is causing a lot of those health problems that we may have. And, when we take on, it's like I say that we normalize traumatic, we normalize trauma. And that's not normal to come to work every day and have to fight every day, whether it's teachers, students, parents, any stakeholder. And it takes a toll on us. So when we come together as Black women leaders, it's more of a supportive environment that we want to create, a sisterhood that we want to create, and not having that stigma of, like, even discussing it and not having that stigma of the angry Black woman, the Black woman. Sometimes we're the head of HR because we're okay with firing people, just being mean and to others. And for me, I just want to break that mold because, one, that's not me, and two, it's not a lot of women, but we have to be strong. For Black women, it's different than any other species on earth, because Black women, we always have to be strong. We always have to hold our head up. We always have to, not let anyone see us, be transparent or cry. And we take care of the children, we take care of the family, we clean a house, we do the dishes, we do the laundry, but then we still come to work and we do all of this as well. And it's like, for us historically, it's just so much to bear. And sometimes we don't have that support system to just vent and say, I am tired. And that's it, period. I'm tired. Because we always have to bear the brunt of most of the things that's happening in everyone's life. We're everybody's mother, everyone's mother.
Tough stuff. If I could just ask you this follow up, and I know we saw Marticia's comment, but let me say this to you. Let me ask you this: if you were the dean of a university, Michelle, and you had the opportunity to kind of reshape, remold some things, rebuild, retool some things there, how might you make that program that much more relevant to the needs of the aspiring Black woman administrator?
The first thing I would say is, again, I'm the kind of person where people have to look into themselves first. It's, again, you have to look in the mirror. You have to look at what inspires you, what drives you, where your passions lie. Because if you're doing this for clout, if you're doing this for money, if you're doing this, just to have, people say, you did a great job, it's not going to happen. So if I'm a dean at a university and I want people to change their outlook on what it is that they do and changes they want to make, you have to look within yourself first, create those goals. And then your team, you work with your team. There's one thing you cannot do is do it on your own. So, but you also have to find people who believe in your vision. You have to find people who will work and say, you know what, I don't always agree. Because no, I don't always agree with Vance, and he knows that. And I'll let him know behind closed doors. I will never say it out loud in public. But all right, well, not in public, but
How you think we got here? No, I'm kidding. No.
But it's just like you have to find someone who believes in you. So me, I would definitely, I pray to God that that I find a team who we can bounce ideas off of, who doesn't have these egos that's so big that it walks through the door before them. And I don't even know who you are. I just know who your ego is. So it is very important to develop the vision and that mission together as a team and say, okay, now how are we going to make this happen? I'm not sure if I answered your question.
No, you did.
Okay.
You did. I appreciate it. I want to jump into those. I want to get more specific. What you've been doing is really with the responses, you've been demonstrating the whole teamwork between the two of you, literally in real time, live, right? But now I want to go to some of your responses to some scenarios that I told you off camera. To the fam, I took a quick trip to New Orleans, and while I was on the plane, I got creative and wrote these scenarios, these one-sentence scenarios, and I wanted them to respond to them. They'll probably take us 3 sessions to get through them because it's a lot in this, but it's 12. I was going to ask the two of you to respond to each, but I see that y'all can go a little bit, right? So let's go one for one of you, the next one for the other one of you. But if you want to chime in on it, then the floor is open. We can do a part 2 if need be. That's not a problem. So again, our topic to the fam: a principal and an AP talk leadership teamwork. And that's where I want to go now. So let me put this out here. I won't call on either one of you. Just somebody jump in. A fractured administrative leadership team can adversely impact the entire school community. Once again, and matter of fact, let me put it on the screen. I forgot I had written them down. Here we go. A fractured administrative leadership team can adversely impact the entire school community. So when you respond, first tell me if you agree or disagree, and then why. Anybody?
Definitely agree. Absolutely 110% agree.
Tell us why.
If mom and dad are arguing, the kids know. And again, if we are leading if I'm the principal, I am leading the school. If I'm a principal with good sense, I have distributive leadership, and my team and I are leading the school. So if we are not on one accord, there's the school, the whole community, it will be dysfunctional. Michelle, go ahead. I'm not gonna be too long.
You know, I 100% agree based on just, you know, my beliefs in itself. You cannot, and like I said, if Vance and I disagree on something, besides our leadership team, it's not, the rest of the school is not going to know. And also we rarely disagree on things. I think it's just about how we go about solving issues. And I think it's good for us not to always be like the same person. I kind of feel like sometimes we are the same person. That's why we're like, yeah, that's my friend, but that's my brother, you know, because I feel like sometimes, but then he'll come from like a male perspective, and I'm coming from a female perspective, and I may have more empathy than he does. And I'm like, you got to calm down, because honestly, it's you there's a certain way that we can do this without you being so harsh.
You talking sideways out your mouth. I can bring
I'm not talking sideways. I'm talking out of it, straight out of it. I'm not talking sideways. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And sometimes he can be harsh. However, making sure that you guys, again, it goes along with, you know, understanding what is the mission of this school, what is the vision of this school. And if it doesn't go along with the mission or the vision of the school, then it can't work. It just cannot. So we have had issues with our leadership team. We have had moments where we weren't getting along. And I really am the kind of person that I wear it on my sleeve. If I'm not happy, you're going to see it on my face. And I've been told that before, like even in meetings, text messages, fix your face, you know. So,
sorry.
Fix your face, you know.
There's been times that she has walked in the meeting, sat down, and the meeting is going, and I'm the one leading the meeting. I'll tap Renee and say, keep it going. And I'll tap Michelle and say, are you okay? She said, I'm fine. All right, let's talk outside real quick. And I bring her in my office, and then she lets it all out. And because she got to, because it's written all over her face.
All written all over your face.
So then we come back in, and it's all good. I mean, I don't want any people on. I don't want anybody on this call to just think it's just me and her, because I have a very large administrative team. I have at least 8 to 10 people on it, and we all interact differently, but we all interact in the same way. Like if there's been times where, and again, as the principal, there's been times where it's been fractured and people actually have left and walked out. And I wrote this word down, emotional intelligence. You got to have emotional intelligence in order to lead a team, because when somebody just gets up and walks out, you don't follow them. You know, that's how it keeps, you know, that's how the fire keeps burning, because the reason why they got up and they walk out is because they're going through something and they got to figure it out on themselves. You know, teachers, when kids get up and then they walk out the classroom and the teacher follows and all of a sudden it goes awry. Well, teacher, the reason why is because you got to allow them to get that out of them. The reason why they got up and walked off is because they don't want to cuss you out.
Right.
So
the good thing is that that's respectful. I would say, like, and that's what teachers probably need to understand too, that sometimes when a student walks out, they're trying not to be disrespectful.
Right. We've had team members fight each other, team members fight argue with parents. We've had a lot of different dynamics that you have to, number one, allow the person to be themselves. Number two, not judge them once they make the mistake. Number three, you have to break it all back down. Michelle and I have actually had PDs on just, all right, what's the foundation of a team? Remember that,
the root cause.
What's the root causes?
Yeah. I'm sorry, of the strife. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. There's been times where there was no teachers in the building. I called a meeting between like 2 or 3 of us. And I said, all right, we go let it all out on the table. Why are you angry?
Yep.
Why are you angry? Now, how do we fix it?
Yep.
Because our main goal is to make these kids is to be successful as with these kids. We're trying to build these kids into successful citizens. If we acting up, the kids that see it, the teachers see it. We have to be together, as a team. I'm gonna stop this. There we go.
I love it. Let's go to this next one. This is a big one here. The assistant principals. Now, this is some fictitious school. The assistant principals are uncomfortable with disagreeing with or even respectfully challenging the principal's decisions. What are your thoughts?
I'll let you take that one.
Okay. I will say I've disagreed with some of Vance's decisions. This one is hard because
go before me.
What you say?
Go before me.
Go before you what?
You're old school.
Okay.
There we go. Now you got something.
I do. So, okay. The assistant principals are comfortable, okay. Again, that depends on the relationship that you have with the principal. This can go 2 ways. It can be more than 2 ways, actually. Different scenarios, I guess I should say. You can have an assistant principal who has a good relationship with their principal and say, okay, can we discuss this? Or in a meeting, I have said, can I just push back on that for a moment? And you don't have to agree with me, but this is the way I feel. And this is, or whatever that decision is. That it can be said like that. Can I push back? And pushback is a word that we use in education where students are allowed to agree or disagree. That's going to be important because if a principal, and I'm going to say this, if a principal does not allow their staff, their leadership team, their assistant principal to push back, there is no way that principal can have a staff that may disagree with them and not be afraid to talk to them. And there's no way that principal can encourage teachers to allow students to have discussions in their classrooms for them to be successful. That means that you're stripping someone of their voice. Mm-hmm. You're stripping your leadership team of their voice. You're stripping your teachers of their voice. And therefore, those teachers learn to strip their students from their voice. And therefore, you're not building anything but a militant school where everybody follows the principal. Right. That's not leadership. It's not. So, again, you can respectfully, not challenge, but just say, hey, can I push back on that? These are my ideas. The principal has a right to take them, run with them or not, or just collaborate and say, okay, let's look at this. Okay, I would like to do it this way. You want to do it? Let's find somewhere in the middle where we can meet. That's one thing. If you don't have that relationship with your principal, then they're the
you can learn from it. You can learn because when you become principal, guess what? Now you know what not to do. And you know why behind it.
That's the case. And I hope that's the case, that you learn what not to do. I was in a school, my first year as an assistant principal, I didn't grow. I didn't learn anything at all. I honestly tried to forget that year. And the only reason why I remember the year is because I was also working with people who I considered, my friends. But I didn't necessarily learn from that principal because they didn't teach me anything. And when you're in a school where that principal just lets all you are is a title. That's it. but they're not actually teaching you. And I had to learn to do things on my own. I had to talk to people. And figure out how do I navigate this area, because it's difficult. And just being able to be transparent and saying that this is difficult. I'm not learning from my principal. They're not giving me any advice. They're not giving me any help. They're not helping me grow or anything like that. So what can I do? And that was a hard lesson for me. So you can respectfully push back, or like Vance said, you can learn from it and make sure that that's not something you do when you get your own school.
Love it. Love it. Go. You were going to say something, Vance?
I'm going to say on the flip side, if your principal is trying to teach something, keep an open ear and an open heart to receive it. Because sometimes when they are teaching you something, it doesn't feel good. It feels like, oh, I know what I'm doing and he don't, or she don't. All right, but receive what the principal is trying to give you. There's been times that I said, hey, Michelle, you want to do this? I'm inviting you to this. Come in here. I want to talk to you about the budget. And she'll say, no, I don't feel like doing that. I got to get my
wait. You can't put all of that in one sentence. Don't do that. don't do that. Don't do that.
Am I lying?
Only about one thing. That's it. So
you didn't tell me that. No, I don't feel like talking about the budget right now.
The budget, but you put it all in one sentence.
Because we don't have much time. We're going to have to do
Don't do that.
Put all your business out.
Yes, Principal Kafele, I will say this, that he said, hey, look, come in. And principals do not talk to their APs about the budget. And any principal on here who's listening right now, I don't care what you feel. You need to talk to your AP about the budget, because it's not fair. It's not fair. They don't get it. They don't see it. They don't even understand it. There are so many portals and everything to make this budget. And so my brain capacity wasn't ready for it. I just said, no, you know what? No, I'm good. I want to go home.
You went on the interview, and guess what? They asked you about the budget.
Yes,
yeah. They asked you about the budget.
And
you got this amount of money. This is your issues. What are you going to buy?
Did I correct myself?
Well, that lesson I skipped because I couldn't receive it all. But that's just an example. If people want to invest in you, allow them to invest.
Yes, I would agree with that. Just say yes, and I had to learn to just say okay. As that's what I told my daughter. I'm like, can you just learn to say okay? And not push back, please. So APs out there in AP world and AP land, learn to say okay, and that's it.
Well, to an extent, yes.
Well, to an extent, yes. But I'm talking about if it helps you grow and learn, and is for the betterment of you and your development. Say okay, whatever you're invited to, and even if you're not invited to it, ask your principal, hey, can I go with you here?
Yeah.
I want to, because one day I want to be in following your shoes and everything. So yeah, you want to make sure you have those opportunities.
There you go. Let's go to this next one. The principal has discovered that his or her APs lack instructional mentalities. So the APs are all about the discipline all day, because the culture so needs so much attention. So they focus on the discipline. They go up and supervise in the cafeteria, all that kind of stuff. But the instruction is not even a part of what goes on outside of evaluation season. What are your thoughts? Either one of you, doesn't matter.
Okay.
You got to create. I'm sorry, but you got to create ways in order for them to get in them classrooms and to learn that and build that capacity in instruction. I remember when I was at AP, my principal was not an instructional principal. He actually placed people around him to do the instruction for him. He was more of an operations guy, and so. That was the principal that I came under here, not.
Hey Vance, do me a favor. Time out real quick, because I some things just have to be done. Dr. Kimberly McLeod just came on. That's the new president of NABSE, National Alliance of Black School Educators. She was the president-elect for the past 2 years. I can't not recognize her as being the president of this prominent organization of Black educators. So the newly elected president, Dr. Kimberly McLeod, is in the building. Glad to see you, Doc. And she said, hello, President-elect Kafele. I'm the president-elect of the New Jersey affiliate. So, I'm excited about that. She knows I'll be leaning on her, just learning the role, because I don't know the role, but I'll learn the role. So by the time I get to my 2 years of elect, I'll be ready to be president. Good to see you, Doc. All right, go ahead, Vance.
Congratulations. Dr. McLeod, how are you? What was the question again?
The principals discovered that his or her APs lack instructional mentalities.
Yeah, you gotta create spaces for where they can build that. There's no other thing about that. When I was a principal, my principal at the time did not create those spaces for me. So when I became principal, in my own opinion, because I have a high bar for myself, I was not up to speed to where I wanted to be. So I had to, come home, open up some books, look at curriculum, and figure some things out so I can lead instructionally. I had to lean on some people in the district, some other principals, Black male principals, and they would say, hey, Vance, if you want to talk about instruction, just give me a call. I think that's very important. The principal, if I discover that you are lacking in a particular area, just like if I go into a classroom and I'm watching instruction and I say, okay, I see this. These are your these are your glows and these are your grows. Here are some action steps that you need to take. I need to do the same thing with that assistant principal, whether that could be us going into a classroom and norming around some instructional practices, me modeling some instructional practices in front of them, them having their own, sending them out to other schools to see different things going on, letting them go to conferences. I think if your budget allows you to, that's really important. Allowing your people to go out and see other people do other things and glean other instructional practices and content, and you kind of gotta treat it like a classroom. I think this is my classroom. You got to scaffold, and I'm big on them seeing me do it. If I'm not doing it, they can't see it. I have to be the exemplar. If I say, these are the 5 things you got to do, I got to be doing those 5 things. Yeah. That's just my my thought process around that.
And I appreciate that about you, Vance. And I don't know if he said anything, but when BMAC came, because you don't have to pay for travel because they're in Philadelphia. So when they're here in Philadelphia, I know the first year we didn't know too much about it. With the first year that we went, Vance took himself, me, and I think Alicia, one of our climate managers, right? Mm-hmm. So we went there, and then the next year he says, I've got to get my staff in, so that they understand what this work really entails, because it's more than what you see in a classroom. And if you have an AP, or even a principal that lacks instructional mentalities, or if you have an AP that lacks instructional mentalities, a good principal will not, lean in on what they can't do, but how can I support you? Again, education is about how we grow and learn from whoever it is that we're growing and learning from, whether it's student to teacher to, admin, and AP to principal to assistant principal to, whoever's up, a superintendent, I don't know, whatever, so whoever you're growing and learning from, that is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to actually make sure that you're growing and learning. So he took a lot of us to the BMAC conference, and even, we also encourage other people, just to go as well, because it's just such a powerful conference. Yeah. And you don't have to pay for a plane ticket, a hotel room, or anything like that. It's something that we can easily get to. So if there's something going on, even Temple Life, he's, had educators from our school to make sure that they build their capacity with dealing with our English learning students. So he did that. So it's just about how we use those community resources to make sure that we build on our capacity. And you could be the best teacher, but there's always run for growth. And as long as you have that understanding and that mentality that
Mhm.
you never stop growing, then
Yeah.
you'll continue to do things to build your capacity and say, hey, I've done this because I want to make sure that I'm my best self when I walk into this building.
Principals, if you're in principal land, if you discovered that his or her your AP is lacking instructional mentality, it is your responsibility to build that person.
Let's stay there for a second, because somebody might have missed that. I'm gonna just reiterate what you just said, and I'm gonna let you expound. Vance just said principals out there, principals who are on with us live right now, principals who will see this video later on. If you have an AP or more, that's on you to ensure that AP is instructionally sound. Right now, let's say, for example, you're saying, but there's stuff going on. Our kids are coming in with challenges, right? And somebody's got to handle the discipline and all that kind of thing. I would counter, and I'm gonna shut up on this and turn it back over to either one of you. I would counter that by saying, but have you given maximum attention to the culture of your school? Because you show me a school where there are behavioral challenges, and I'll show you another school with the same kids you have, but a different culture has been established, and those kids are walking into that building differently from the ones in the prevailing school. Yep. So culture matters if that AP is going to have the ability to become the instructional leader / coach that we need that person to be. I probably said more than I needed to say. Anybody want to jump in on that?
Culture is very important. I have a principal in mind, and she's on this call now, who has a tough culture, and she's in the high school. And she and I actually have these conversations all the time. She says, "You're spoiled, Vance. You got a K-5. You don't have the." She you know what I'm talking about. You don't have the issues that I have. It's hard. It's hard for me to get into classrooms. And we sit there and we go back and forth a little bit. And all I do is continue to encourage her to continue to try to get into these classrooms, no matter what, because instruction is important. However, and I know there's a huge debate on what comes first, the culture or the instruction. Well, if you have good instruction, the culture will be good. Right. Not all the time. So it's synonymous. And when I first got to my school, the culture was a little tough, and especially was like right after COVID, and everybody was all behaviors was off the chain. But then there were fights in alleyways and all types of stuff. But none of that stuff is going on anymore because the culture has changed. We put the work in. But me personally, as the leader of my school, it is my responsibility to grow people. And if my APs or instructional people are not growing instructionally, that is on me. Just like you said in the beginning of the beginning of the call, that if that child comes to you, they're your responsibility. Yeah. You become the parent. So, if Michelle, Renee, or whoever comes to my school and they are an administrator, it is my responsibility to get them into the classrooms. It's my responsibility to get them to places where they need to be. So that means if I got the cover, now this is just me. If I got the cover lunches, they go into classrooms. And then we switch. We come up with some way, somehow, that they get into classrooms, that they are able to build their capacity. I remember I had to, Michelle, what are the classes we got to take? Pills. So in Pennsylvania, we got to take pills classes. It's like Act 48 credits type of thing, and to keep up. I remember my principal, he got an attitude with me because I said, I have to take my pills classes. They're only offered during the school day, and the school district does offer time so when principals and assistant principals can take these classes, because if we don't take them, and they're only offered during the week on the school day, if we don't take them, guess what? We lose our certification. He got an attitude. I said, and then I kind of explained to him, we went back and forth. And this has nothing to do with him, but I've had people come to my building who are now working in my building and say, Vance, I got to take pills classes. I got to take this class. Take it. Yeah, but I'll take your caseload. Whatever you got going on, I'll handle it. You don't worry about it. Grow. grow instructionally, grow in that content, grow, build your own capacity. Because guess what? If you grow, I grow, and my school gets better.
And yep, that's it. That's what I wanted to say too. If you grow, that school gets better. And I can attest to that because when I did come here, I was a newly appointed, AP, and I had to take my classes. And the PILS classes are 2 days, 2 full days. Like I watch the kids come in the building and leave the building through my window. So that's how long they're all day, and you only get what, a half-hour break or an hour break or something like that, and that's it. And then you're back and you're working. So
I even offered for her to do it at home, and she said, "No, I want to come in.
I want to come in." Because it's I can be at home and it's fine, but if I'm able to like hear what's going on outside my office, they like my secretary, she knows like nobody can bother you. I know that, but I like to hear the laughter of kids. I like to hear that the school is okay, not necessarily interacting. And sometimes a kid wants to come in and say hello, and I'm not going to stop them from saying hello. Come on in, say hello, say hi to the people. And then I'll say, okay, go ahead, go back to class. You know what I mean? So that's being in that supportive environment. Yes, you have got to support your APs and whatever they want to do, because wherever their road is, whatever their goal is, and APs, talk to your principal about what it is that you want to do, because sometimes they don't know. Some people are good with being APs, like that's where they want to retire. I love being as an AP. I don't necessarily want the responsibility of being a principal. You don't have to be a principal. That is not the end goal for everyone. But if that's something that you do want to do, you want to become principal as your next step, then you have to discuss that. You have to have those conversations with your principal to make sure they know what it is that you need from them. And again, if they can't give it to you, then you seek it from someone else. There are other principals who will mentor you as an AP, even if your principal's not willing to do it. So you seek out those people. You have got to network and find principals, and because I can't get everything from Vance, so I'll talk to other principals, and the things that Vance does here. See, all schools are not a one-size-fits-all school. All schools have different needs, so you can't just say, oh, I've been at this school and I'm going to apply everything that I've learned at this school to my other school. That's not going to work. So you have to make sure that you go out there, you meet other principals, visit other schools, see what they're doing. Is it going to apply to your next school? Maybe, maybe not. But at least you know that you're getting different perspectives, and your principal, their job is to make sure that you get those perspectives from other principals, so that when you do go on to lead your own school, you'll be able to say, okay, I can pull from here, 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 because you don't have to rewrite the formula. The formula is written already. All you have to do is pull on the resources that you have. And that's what's going to be important.
Love it. Love it. Listen, I'm going to speak to the two of you and the fam at the same time. To the fam out there, I had generated 12 of these scenarios. We've covered 3.
Oh.
Stay on here for me, fam, so we can do 3 more, and then we'll do a part 2 as Constance Sherrod just said. We definitely gonna come back and do a part 2. But stay on for me now. To you, the two of you, do you have time?
I do.
Yes.
And energy?
Yes.
All right, very good.
But that means Vance can't talk so much. You're gonna have to stop him if he talks too much. His ego.
His ego, right? Let's go to this number 4 here. A newly hired assistant principal discovers that the principal lacks an instructional mentality. So I flipped it. So here, let me just give you the scenario the way I thought about it on the plane, coupled with things I've received from folks in inboxes. So you got this AP who came out of the classroom, still has that instructional mentality from being a classroom teacher, ready to dive into instructional leadership, but that is not on the radar of the principal, to the extent that the AP is not even comfortable having instructional conversation with the principal, because that is not who the principal has demonstrated him or herself to be. With that being said, what are your thoughts?
Okay.
Well, in my AP life, as an AP, I have to allow that principal to be who they are because that is my rating officer.
Okay.
I have to stay in my lane and do the best I can for kids and keep my job. Learn from that person. And if I can't take it, but for so long, start looking for a different school.
Facts.
Yeah.
Just being honest.
Yeah, no, I don't have any disagreement with that either. In fact, before you go, Michelle, I think we would be remiss if that wasn't a part of the discussion, because somebody could come on here, we could say the wrong thing, and now this person is challenging the principal. You've now you've put the principal at a defensive mode, and now you may not have that job that you talked about, right? But then there could be some other ways to look at it coupled with that. We'll see what comes out of Michelle here.
Well, you don't want to challenge your principal.
Right.
That is something that I would never tell anyone to challenge their principal. That's a no-no. Because again, that is your boss, that is your rating officer. And from where I come from, that means everything. So, you know, it happens when you've been out of the classroom for a long time. And then you also have principals who've never been in the classroom. They didn't come from an educational background. That happens as well. So, you know, I can give you the La La Land version of an answer. Hey, you built one another up, and then that'll be the end of it. But that's not the actual case. You know, you have principals who are not confident in their being an instructional leader. And our main job is to be an instructional leader. And if you're not, then that means that there's a deficit in the position that you hold. You have a deficit, and it's definitely there. So as an assistant principal working with a principal who does not have that, you look at the principal for the strengths that they have. What can they bring for you and everything? Now, I don't know how other districts work, but for the school district of Philadelphia, we have a lot of supports for principals. So if principals do not come from an instructional background, they have to make it their job on their own, and that will be their journey and not your journey to set for your principal to learn those instructional, to build that capacity and instruction and whatever it is. So that's going to be on them. Your job is your job. If you come from an instructional background, then you let the principal know, hey, I'm going to make sure that this is on my caseload. I want to make sure I get into these classrooms and so on and so forth. And you build your capacity, and maybe the principal will see, maybe they won't. Again, if it's not going to work, I do not believe in pigeonholing yourself into one place. I do not believe that I have to be here because if, I have to and struggle, and no, you can't, because you can't grow that way. So I definitely agree that leaving at the end of the school year, not in the middle, I do not, because I also believe that students need consistency, with their who they see every day. But at the end of the year, if it's not working for you, if it's not a good fit, then see if you can find somewhere else to be, somewhere else where you're going to grow and learn.
But you nailed it when you said, but you are going to continue to build your own capacity, right? And that's, because I'm thinking about the AP. There's probably on here right now that's saying you're speaking in terms of that scenario. You're speaking to my world, right? I do have an instructional mentality, but that's not the case with my principal. So therefore, as you said, I'm just reiterating what the two of you said. I'm not going to try to change you, but I am going to ensure to the best of my ability that I'm growing in that area. Because in particularly in this regard, we said a new assistant principal, so it's new to me.
Right.
I don't have you as a mentor now, but I may have other people in my life who are a mentor to me. And now I will try to build my capacity for my next level, as opposed to me settling for doing the non-instructional things. And then I become a principal, like what came up about an hour ago, where someone doesn't know the budget. right? And now you become a principal, right? Right. And I know you guys were joking with it, but in all seriousness, no exposure to a budget, and now you become a principal, right? And what do I know, right? And that was me. I had zero exposure. My principal was threatened by my presence, so I didn't get that exposure. I didn't even get to hold a microphone, right? So but I had to figure it out, right? So I said, I'm not gonna fight with him. I'll just figure it out, and I did.
Yeah,
It made me the principal of the building the next year, right? So I only did that the AP position for the 1 year, and then they went on and moved me, and then I had to really figure out this thing called principal leadership in real time. The only other thing I would say to that, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. You may know, depending on how far you got in that "What is my value" book instruction, you may know the emphasis that I put on the administrative leadership team in terms of the collaboration. So if that's a team in the truest sense of the word team, and the collaboration is strong, then instructional leadership will probably come up in those conversations. It doesn't mean that the AP will now become tutor or mentor or teacher, but it does mean there's a conversation around instruction, which is going to force the principal to listen, right? And probably ultimately engage. And for me, outside of building one's own capacity, that's the little opening that maybe that principal will hear that in those conversations. But that's all contingent upon if we're really functioning as a team, as opposed to a collection of individuals.
Right.
Yep. Good stuff. Let's keep moving. Where's that one at I had? Where's it at? Bear with me, fam. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. It kind of came up a little bit, but now we're going to put emphasis on it. The assistant principals feel they can't grow under their principal's leadership. So these are inboxes that come my way. I just don't identify the people, but folks saying to me, I can't grow here. I can't grow under this person. So I want you to respond, but I guess the question I want to throw at you to facilitate it is, what is this person to do outside of leaving the school? Or I should say beyond leaving the school.
My first thought is define the word grow. What are you trying to grow in? Everybody doesn't have everything. I know someone who actually went through this and winded up leaving their school. And not saying that they regretted it, but they say, man, I kind of wish I would have stayed. I would just define the word grow. What area are you trying to grow in? And if that particular principal cannot give you that, again, like Michelle said, go out, find different ways and different venues and different openings to grow in that particular area. There are, especially instructionally, but if you are talking about in areas of culture, attendance, how to analyze data, things like how to talk to parents, how to talk to people, how to build community. That's a big thing. Building community is huge. How to build relationships with people. Everybody doesn't have that skill. Go out and find ways, find people, build your network. Your network is your net worth. When you're going out to these conferences, when you're going out to these professional developments, you got one coming up, I believe, in February.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to. I think it was Seton Hall, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
Go out to these sort of things and meet people, build that community. Michelle and I go out. When I go out, I bring Michelle because I know where she wants to go. So the only way she's going to get there if she starts to meet people to build certain areas where she feels as though she is weak, and that's what she does. And we're now here. But continue. giving our opinion, but we're learning how we're learning in this moment now. You
Yeah.
know, this is a new area for us, and we're learning in this moment. We're learning from you, not only from a book, but just from doing this. So, yeah, Michelle,
You guys would be great podcast hosts, by the way.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. That I've been under a principal where I didn't feel like I could grow. And that was just really one. I have had some amazing principals, and that is assistant principals, and there may be some aspiring assistant principals on this call now. I don't know. But if you are an aspiring assistant principal, you know, you start looking at your leadership now. Who's your principal and what do they do and how do they support you in your journey? My principal, when I was still a teacher, I was still a school-based teacher leader. They, you know, she supported me and encouraged me to become administration. Honestly, she's the one who told me to go back to school. Maya Johnstone, you know, she was my principal at one of my schools, and she inspired me to go to school. And again, Michelle being Michelle said, no, I'm not doing it because, you know, I had a million reasons why I wouldn't do it. Again, that's a journey that I've been working on for myself. But just the fact that, you know, that principal was supportive in seeing the leadership skills that I possessed. She was able to say, you know, go back to school. In order for you to keep this job, I need you to have your principal certification. It wasn't on my radar. So if you're at a school where, you know, you feel like you cannot grow, and this was me growing in just my leadership capacity. It is very important to know where your deficits are and where you do need to grow, like Vance said. That's very important. But that goes to me saying you have got to know what your goals are. You cannot go into this not knowing where you want to be. And even if you start off saying, I'm not really sure where I want to go, I'm just going to do this for now, that's okay as well. But you are going to have to learn how to say, okay, this is what I want to do. And these are the things that I'm not getting from this principal or from this school. And then you develop yourself. It's really all about your reflection of self. It's about your reflection of what you see. Hold that mirror up again, Principal Kafele, please.
Yes,
because it is about you. And what you already know. This mine, it's a little fancier than yours, but here you go.
That's a nice one. That's a nice one.
Oh, you know, so I'm gonna hold up one for Vance. Hold on.
No, I got my phone. Look at this. Look, I can
Oh, okay. Oh, and that works. And that phone works.
That works.
Yep, it works. You know, so yeah, you again, okay. So here's the thing. People are going to believe what they want to believe about you. People are going to say what they want to say about you. At the end of the day, does any of it matter? It does not. People can believe whatever it is they want to believe. It's about what you believe in yourself. Can you do it? And if you can, and even if other people around you don't believe that you can do it, yes, I was fortunate that someone saw something in me. Yes, thank you. I really appreciate that. But what if they didn't? And it was a goal that I had. Do I let them stop me because someone said, well, you know, you're okay, but I think you should seek out other things. You know, this is what happens with our students where, you know, where teachers will say, well, you can't do that because of this and that. Does that stop the child? A lot of times it does. It does. And so therefore, I always look at how adults treat children. And if it stops a child and it breaks a child, then you know that it's going to do that to an adult as well. You know that I'm a woman of a certain age, and I'm every age. Like my daughter, I'm saying goodbye to her. I'm kissing her this morning. She's like, "What am I, 4?" I said, "Yes, you are." And my daughter is 20. And I said, you're a newborn, you're 1, you're 2, you're 3, you're 4, you're 5. And I went all the way up to 20, you know, and because inside of us lives that little child
Yeah.
that can easily be broken.
Yeah.
And you have to be strong enough to say, I'm better than what you think I am. And that is going to take guts, because we can't let someone tell us what we're capable of.
You got,
That's a powerful thing you said. I'm reminded of that little guy in me. I'm 65 years old, but circumstances remind me of him, and he's still there, you know. But I don't think I've ever articulated that, you know. But yeah, he's still there. Good stuff, great stuff. One more, and then we go through them rapid fires. Where we at? And then we'll schedule the other one. Where we at? I can't even see y'all. Here we go. Here's a big one. The relationship between the principal and AP is less than a good one, which has caused distance between the two. It is nevertheless the principal's responsibility to keep this relationship productive. That last line is only my opinion. It's not based in anything. I just can't see the AP being responsible for making that relationship work. Of course, if that person felt that they had the ability to do so, then fine. But in this case, in my opinion, I'm putting the burden on the principal, since that is your AP, to make this work. With that being said, I shall shut up, and the floor is yours. What are your thoughts?
I 110% agree. I believe we already spoke on this before, but yeah, nevertheless, the principal's responsibility is their responsibility to keep that relationship productive.
Yeah.
By any means necessary. You may not want to.
Right.
There are people that I work with that I'm not fond of, but I make it my business on purpose because I'm not fond of them to make it work. It is not their responsibility. It is mine. I agree. Michelle, because we kind of spoke on this. I mean, you could that's kind of self-explanatory. I mean, I can come up with a bunch of points that I guess to speak on it, but that's it. It's my responsibility. That's it.
It's your responsibility, because if I don't like you, then that's on you. That's why it's your responsibility.
Well, that's on you, because I can write you up.
It's on you. That's really on you. You know,
I mean, it is. You know, this is the vision. I need you to work within the vision, and that's what I need you to do. And I'm going to do everything in my power to lead you, to help you, to support you. And again, we are talking reality. If that is the case, maybe it's a different conversation.
Oh wow!
No, not you. No, not you.
Okay.
No, not you.
Okay.
But you know that's real, and there are principals who are working with assistant principals who, you know, they're not. The relationship is not the best one, but you know, sometimes maybe y'all need marriage counseling or something. Maybe y'all need a counselor. Bring another principal in. We're in cast, you know, bring a cast person and help us.
And then, so you know, we could talk about Megan. You know what I mean, Vance?
Oh yeah,
sometimes,
yeah.
And I don't want to harp on principals too much, because you have some APs that they are hard to get along with. They think they know everything. They come in, and you have APs who think that they come in the building like, oh, I'm better than the principal, you know. And so then you have this collide, you know, and they're going, because you got the principal who's just like, no, this is my school, and you have the APs like, I don't really care. You can have a school where the AP has been there forever and it's a new principal, and the AP thinks it's their school because they've been there, they know how the school runs, and you're not going to come here and change the dynamic of this school. You have so many scenarios that can happen that are someone's reality. And the reality is that APs need to understand that, the principal is at the helm of the school. You cannot change that. And the more you fight against the principal, the bigger that clash is going to be. So it's not going to, and it falls on the teachers. You divide teachers.
Yeah, you're creating
you're creating, you know, a disconnect in that building, and it happens all the time, which is really sad, and it's a shame. So you know, just having an understanding that, yeah, it's fine that you don't like you're not getting along, but you have to look at yourself as the AP. Are you coming in with this huge ego against the principal? Are you against the principal?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so all parties have to look at themselves to see how can you put the question back up?
Yeah.
yeah. Again, and Michelle, Michelle, to your point, it's my responsibility. It's not yours, because I you know,
why you got the finger pointing going? What are you talking about?
I'm talking to you. You're in the square, and I mean, I can go over to your office. I don't feel like walking across the yard.
It's a square, it's a rectangle, but go ahead.
You're right. And look, you thought you didn't know math instruction.
The quadrilateral.
We got to behave. All right. So, but yeah, ultimately, it is it's up to the principal, man. And you know, it's hard sometimes. You wanted to, as a principal, you want to take a temper tantrum. You want to cuss somebody out. You want to. It's hard sometimes. You just want to do what everybody else is able to do, but you're not allowed to do. I'm very, when I walk in here and when I walk the streets, I'm like, wow, I have to act right at all times. You know, I have to present myself in a way that's appropriate. I can't go too far left or too far right. And I have this person, not you, Michelle, but if I have a person I'm not disagreeing with, the kids can't see mom and dad fight. The kids feel it. The staff feels it. The community feels it. If there is a struggle between leadership, and that it's your responsibility, again, as the principal, to, if not fix it, to address it. You got to address it. Sometimes you just can't fire somebody because there's nobody in the pool. Y'all got to figure it out. You got to make it work. And one way to do that is to keep kids the center of
yes.
You know, okay, this is what we got to do. But I don't feel like doing that. It's about the kids. How is this going to affect kids? What's the impact on children, on families? And that kind of centers everybody after a while. If you keep kids in the center, everybody starts to align, because I'm not doing this for myself, for my ego, for myself promotion. I'm doing it for children. I need you to align with me. And let's work it out. Let's figure it out. We got to, because if we don't, these kids are going to suffer. They're going to suffer. And the staff suffers too, because then they have to choose sides, you know, and it's not fair, because you have some staff who just like, well, this is my principal, this is what they say, so this is what I'm going to do. And then you have some staff that's like, well, they don't agree. So, you know, not only that, it also causes staff to do their own thing, meaning that they don't have to listen to anybody and they go rogue and they just do whatever they want to do. So when there's distance between an AP and a principal, that staff, they're going to go one side, another side, or they just want to shoot right for whatever it is that they want to shoot for. And they close their door and they do whatever they want in their classroom, because who's watching them? Who's holding them accountable? Nobody. Mom and dad are arguing. So ain't nobody watching me. And what happens when children are not being watched? No, I'm not calling teachers children. I'm sorry, but you know how it is when you know, and mom and dad, you know, you can have an assistant principal and a principal who are both males, who are both females, or male and female, whatever the case is. You know, when mom and dad are fighting, the kids are out doing whatever they want to do. So you have got, just like in a good marriage, you have got, even if it's not a good marriage, you know, somewhere when you're here for your kids, you have got to make sure that there's some kind of unity. Even if you don't even like one another, you don't have to be friends with your principal. You don't have to be friends with your assistant principal. The job could be the job, and that's it. When I go home, I live my life, you live your life. We meet again at 7:00 in the morning and we just do the job. We're here for the kids. If you focus on what your main goal is, what your end goal is, you know, then that's what you need to focus on. I don't care about being, you know, everybody being kumbaya and being friends. That's not what this job is about. Being friends makes it a happier place to work. But in order for it to be functional and to make sure that you have that climate and culture part, then you have to make sure that students
is the center of every decision that you make. You know how we say, keep God first in all things that you do? You have to in a school, because everybody does not believe in God in this school. Everybody is not a Christian in this school. So we have to keep students first in everything that we do and every decision that we make.
Just like Hurts and AJ Brown. You know, sometimes they don't
yeah, always
no words. But you know, sometimes but we got a job to do. We got to win this game. We got to win this championship. We got to do it for the kids.
Got to win that Super Bowl. I'm with you. Hey, great stuff. To the fam out there, we're gonna go through these rapid fire real quick, and then we'll close out. Stay with us. These are, if you don't know, as Biggie would say, now you know. But
if you don't know,
baby,
now you know. Rapid fire. Just give me one sentence, or you give me one word or a phrase. But if you find yourself putting in a comma, too much. Right? This is
one word, Michelle. One.
Here we go. 10 each, and then the last one I give to both of you. Here we go. First, Michelle, do you feel that education is currently on the right path for underserved students?
No.
Do you feel that true equity can occur in America's schools for Black, brown, and other underserved children?
Eventually.
Does Michelle Todd-Coleman's work contribute to the progress we desperately need?
Yes.
If you could do a reset on your life, would your line of work be different or the same?
It would be the same.
Why do you continue to do this work?
It's important to me, and it's where I came from.
What fires you up within the work that you do?
The laughter of children.
What do you dislike about the work you do?
The system it's built upon.
What has been your greatest victory in the work thus far?
Seeing students be successful.
What has been your greatest mistake in the work thus far, your work thus far?
Not being understanding towards students that I've taught in the past.
What has been your greatest challenge in your work thus far?
Learning how to accept people for who they are.
Vance, are you proud of your first year as an assistant principal?
Principal.
No, going back to...
No, he's asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, are you proud of your first year as an assistant principal?
No.
Yes.
Are you proud of your first year as principal?
Yes.
Who inspires you in your work?
You.
Yeah. I appreciate you, but I know you got all them Philly heads out there. Yeah.
My community is my community.
There you go.
What
book do you recommend for the fam out there this afternoon?
This one right here. This is a good book.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Thank you. Written during the pandemic. What do you want to accomplish that you have not accomplished yet?
Get my doctorate.
Are you satisfied with where you are professionally?
No.
Is there another gear to your leadership, or are you at peak performance now?
It's another gear.
What would you say to an AP out there who continues to face closed doors to the principalship?
Keep trying.
What would you say to a leader out there who's lost their leadership passion?
Keep shooting the shot. Keep trying.
What would you say to a leader out there who's lost their leadership confidence?
Keep trying. Build on your community.
And finally, if Vance McNear was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Servant.
If Michelle Todd-Coleman was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Amazing.
Thank you.
You all right?
You gonna go with that? You gonna go with that one? No, I mean it's
I find myself amazing.
There you go.
I mean, in the Black sense, I would say dope, but dope. You know,
that's all right. You know, before we go to those emojis, let me just say this. just in that response by you, that's never happened before, for you to jump in and say amazing, you just encapsulated everything about today's session. Like you put a bow on it, right? That's heavy. I've never seen 295 sessions. I've never seen that before, right? It's before she spoke, you jumped in and said amazing. Wow, that's big. And see that goes back to, what was her name? Martricia.
Yeah.
Marticia, yeah.
That goes back to what she said, where I just wish I had somebody that felt that way about my leadership. See, so, and I know you talked about the team is about 8 or so of you, and I I'm blessed to have the 2 of you on here together. And there was a question that I didn't ask because I didn't feel that I needed to, because you were exhibiting it the whole time. And the question was, what makes the 2 of you tick the way you do? But I literally put a line through it, and I said, I don't need to ask that question because I see it, and I think we all see it, right? Just in the camaraderie between the 2 of you, I didn't have to ask that question. Of course, you'd probably give more input, but it was just so obvious to me why this works. I could see maybe one day a superintendent, assistant superintendent. Who knows, right? Who knows what the future, what lies ahead? But yeah, good stuff. To the fam out there, hit us up with your favorite emojis if today's session resonated with you. If it was good stuff, if it was useful stuff, if you could utilize it, if you can infuse it into your work, then give us your favorite emojis, which you long started already, which I appreciate, while I simultaneously get my favorite emoji, my big Louisville. So y'all hit it right out the park. I'm wearing my Nashville Stars Negro League jersey today. Nice. So y'all hit it right out the park.
Thank
Great
you.
Stuff. Let's see. Is this a new record? No, not quite. We had 2 minutes and 31 seconds, but it's close. I think the record is like 3 hours, but and some change, right? One of them just went really long, but yeah, good stuff. I don't know if you consult or anything. If you do, let them know how they can reach you. If you don't, maybe they just want to follow you on social media. I couldn't find you, Michelle, because I couldn't tag you or nothing. You ain't on there, are you? Yeah, that ain't just. I'm trying to tag you.
I'm on LinkedIn.
Are you?
I am. I follow you on LinkedIn, Principal Kafele.
Okay. Well, let the folks know if you do consult, or if you will in the future, let them know how they can reach you. Your social media, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, social media. I don't respond I'm not a very good social media person. I'm not. I drop the ball on a lot of things. My family gets upset, like, post. No, I'm not. Vance is like, you got to post. You got to build yourself up. I'm like, yeah. But I'm just on LinkedIn. I think I'm just Michelle Todd-Coleman on LinkedIn.
So go to LinkedIn, folks. If you got a question to ask, or just affirm her, whatever it is, just go to LinkedIn. And then Vance?
You can Google me, Vance McNear, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I'm sure Michelle and I we're working on putting something together, and that'll come up one of these days. But yeah.
Are you members of that?
We need a mentor. We need a mentor, because we're not going to get anything done, because I'm going to keep talking about him and what he thinks, and I'm going to say no, that's not what we're doing. So we need a mediator. We need a mentor and a mediator. So we need 2 people.
Yeah, well, I'm here, and my man here, Josh, that's the name of his school, but his name is Josh Tovar. He's the one that comes on Sundays. That's another one. He's a social media guru. I can never open up my computer on Twitter, and he's not the first person that shows up, because the algorithm draws him to my page. So everything he posts, I see. Right. So he's another one. But we'll talk about that offline. Hey, to close out, any parting words to end the year and all that kind of stuff, even though we got one more week, but on the end of the year, to the fam out there, anything?
Yeah, I do. I do want to say to, assistant principals, because I'm in this role and I've been in this role. This is my 5th year as an assistant principal. I absolutely love my job, and I only love my job because of, not just because of the kids, but the team that I work behind. And the fact that I'm growing. I just want everybody, I know we always, New Year's resolutions, people stop doing it because we don't follow it, but not a New Year's resolution, but look at yourselves. See what goals you want for yourself. Where is it that you want to be within the next, you can do short-term goals, long-term goals. Where do you want to be in the next year? And then where do you want to be in the next 5 years? So like me, I know that I'm going to get my doctorate, but I'll wait for my child to get out of college, because right now my priority is my daughter. But I'm also working on goals for myself in the meantime, even though it's not that educational path in an institution, but that educational journey that I'm on is always within. It's always where my gears are going, what's going on. So just for me to tell you as either aspiring assistant principals currently, or aspiring principals, make sure you set your own goals and then seek out what it is that you're looking for, what you need to support yourself.
Love it.
From me, I only got 3 points. First, we're coming up on a break. Rest and reflect. Rest and reflect. Make sure that you take this time to rest. And just think about all the things you've done thus far and what changes need to be made, what you need, what's going well, what's not going well, and finish your school year strong. Number 2, believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. Principal Kafele asked Michelle a question, and I forgot what the question was, but I knew what my answer would have been, and my answer would have been to believe in myself, because I think we all struggle that in some way, in some capacity. So start to believe in yourself. And thirdly, as you're believing and having faith in yourself, the Bible says faith is dead without works. You got to put the work in. Yes. If you're out there and you are in a situation where your principal doesn't build, put the work in yourself. Find avenues that you can walk down and be able to grow and do things for yourself that you then can give to, other people, other students, other staff members, other community members. So put the work in. Rest, reflect, believe in yourself, and put the work in.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Appreciate y'all. And my final words to you are just appreciate you. You phenomenal session. And I know that it blessed a lot of people. We'll do a part 2, folks. We'll let you know when that's going to be. Y'all stay on here while I close out. So fam out there, I'm getting ready to close it right quick, but stay with me for a second. Next week is week number 296. So we're closing in on 300. This will be the final installment of Dr. Marcus Jackson. So Dr. J Saturdays. So we're going to end it. The day of the week will be the 27th. That is the second day of Kwanzaa. Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. So we're gonna close it out. So we're not gonna talk Kwanzaa, but we're gonna talk self-determination, right? Going into the new year. So you don't want to miss that. He doesn't know what I'm gonna ask. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about either, but we'll have something by then. So join us live at 10:55 next Saturday on the second day of Kwanzaa, Kuji Chagalia. Every Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, Sean Hurt, followed by Create and Educate with Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, followed by myself, AP New Principals Academy, and then on Sunday, PGP podcast with Josh Tovar and Dr. Madi Moreno. I didn't put this graphic up this morning earlier. And I know we got a whole lot of people on now who were not necessarily with us before, but I'm going to throw it up there right quick. If you don't have what is my value instruction to the teachers I supervise, get yourself a copy, get yourself a copy. You can go to Amazon right now, get it. You'll have it probably before next Saturday, right? So get yourself a copy. If you Prime, you have it before Christmas, right? So get yourself a copy. I don't know if we hit that bestseller mark. I needed 10,000 by December 16. I'm not going to know my numbers until January 1, but I do understand the economy during the year. The publishing industry took a major hit. So this book, nobody's book sold the way that they normally would. This should have been a bestseller within 5 months based on the way that my books move. But You know, we live in a different world right now. So get yourself a copy. If it doesn't hit bestseller this year, maybe we'll do it next year, right? Get yourself a copy. Get yourself a copy. The other thing, you all know that I have my 9th annual School Leadership Institute, July 9 and 10. So just put that on your calendar. We'll be in Savannah, Georgia. I don't have any links for you to register yet. We are dropping the price significantly from what it used to be. For those of you that knew the old price, we want to make it a little bit more affordable. So, but that'll be 2 days, full days, July 9 and 10 in Savannah, Georgia. Let me just get the other conference up. Hopefully I can get it up here real quick. Come on, real quick. There it is. Boom. So I want you to make sure that you join me at this conference. Nurturing Greatness will be at Seton Hall University in South Orange, New Jersey, on February 16th, President's Day. So a lot of you are closed that day. So just either use that QR code or go to the website that you see on the bottom. Probably the QR would be quicker for you unless you take a picture of the screen right quick. And join us in here in Jersey at Seton Hall University all day. That'll be Dr. Tanya Breland. And I always reference her because she's the mother of the country music sensation Breland. That's her son. So Tanya is my milking sister. We both are milking winners. And then her partner in her business, Dr. Erica Leak. And then Dr. Salome Thomas L. will be our keynoter with about 18 other breakout session presenters. So we're going to have a great day. So I'd love to see you in the building. Love to see you in Jersey. If you're already in Jersey, just love to see you here in this state that I bleed. I bleed Jersey. That's what I am. That's who I am. All right. So with that said, let me get out of there. Subscribe to the AP New Principals Academy. Be a part of the 24,700 subscribers. That's a whole lot of people. We can't fit all our subscribers into a Knick game at the Garden, right? Because they could only hold 20,000. So we would have to have 4,700 on the outside watching on their phones, right? So that's a lot of people, but I want to get it up to 25,000. So hit that subscribe button and then hit that notification bell so that you're aware that when we go live. Visit principalkafele.com for additional resources. And then finally, your diet. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. I was in New Orleans last week, y'all. So, I ain't really, I was eating crawfish etouffee and, all that kind of stuff, man. So, we get back normal now that I'm home. And your exercise, get that in. I ain't get that in either. So I'll be in the gym tomorrow. And then your virus precautions, make sure that you are taking care of yourself because there's a lot of sickness out here. I mean, I'm susceptible to it too, right? So, but I'm taking whatever precautionary measures I can. But make sure that you're taking care of yourselves. Other than that, happy holidays to you, whatever you celebrate. I ain't naming all them holidays. Just happy holidays to everybody. And then I'll see you next Saturday on the second day of Kwanzaa, Kuji Chagalia, with Dr. Marcus Jackson and we're going to talk about self-determination going into the new school year, which is what Kuji Chagalia means in Kiswahili. Other than that, have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Thumbs up. Now cock that fist back all the way. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Bam! There you go. I see y'all next Saturday morning. Have a great week, y'all.